Chester A. Pete Shelton, Beaumont president, and in January 2007, he came back to the city
in which we live, work, and play. We pray, oh God, that you will fill them with wisdom, love, and insight. We pray that they will always seek the well.
Present.
Councilmember Durio.
Present.
Councilmember Getz.
Present.
Councilmember Felshaw.
Present.
Councilmember Samuel.
Present.
And Councilmember Neal.
Present.
Thank you.
Today we have 2 proclamations and 1 recognition and 3 presentations. In lieu of reading the proclamations, we will yield the time to allow them to come up. Thank you very much.
Thank you for what you do. Proud of you. Well done. Sound good?
Oh, is it really?
Well done.
Smile. Perfect, perfect.
Sorry, I couldn't see Mike.
You go. Anybody else pictures? Perfect. Hey, y'all are good.
Right behind me. Good evening, Mayor, City Council, City Manager, City Attorney, and other city staff. I'd like to start by thanking you, Mayor West, for this recognition and opportunity to speak this evening. After years of teaching children to swim in my backyard, God gave me a vision to create a youth swim team. I reached out to various people in the BISD administration and was unsuccessful. But when I reached out to Councilman Turner, he was all in from the start. He set up a meeting with City Manager Williams, Councilman Durio, Attorney Reed, and himself, and they immediately bought in as well, and 409 Swim was created. Our first practice was on Monday, May 3rd at Alice Keith. Many of the 34 kids that make up 409 Swim struggle to even make it half the distance of the pool, which is 75 feet that day, for the cookie cake to celebrate the last swim meet. He's really enjoyed it. Once again, I want to thank you all for giving me and the kids in our city this opportunity.
All right, next we have a proclamation recognizing July 30th, 2024 as World Day Against Trafficking in Persons. Accepting will be CEO and founder Lisa Bowler and Hannah Moore and Brittany Della Garza.
Thank you.
All righty, y'all. 1, 2, and 3. Perfect. You can go ahead and come up here.
Good evening, Mayor West and City Councilman. I so appreciate this day and this time that you're giving us to make this proclamation for a world against trafficking. I represent Harvest House Ministry, which locally is an anti-trafficking organization that works with youth and young adults that have been either trafficked or have been groomed to be trafficked. And according to the United Nations, trafficking in persons accelerated action to end sex trafficking. Children represented significantly proportion of trafficking world victims. What we have done locally is to reach out to churches and ask them to partner with us and show a slide about World Trafficking Day. I do have an exciting announcement today. Our organization has been rebranded and we have changed our name. So I wanted to share that today with everyone. Our new name is called Embracing Freedom, and we're embracing a new chapter of our mission. Looking ahead, I would like our new name to better express what we do and allow the name to speak freedom and hope to our survivors in our care. This new identity symbols our unwavering commitment to providing a safe haven and a fresh start for trafficked victims. So thank you.
Thank you. And next, we have a proclamation recognizing the pioneering women of Beaumont. Accepting will be Miss Maureen Guillory, President of Pioneering Women. And you can bring anybody that's with you as well.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Alrighty, y'all. You can look right here.
Little role models for young girls. Little role models for young girls because what they do it as not anything that they get paid for is a.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us for our quarterly night meeting. We're excited to share what's going on around the city as we head into the month of August. You don't want to miss our free sundown concert featuring the group Hot Grits. It's coming up this Thursday night, August 1st. The outdoor concert is on the lawn of the Downtown Event Center. Listen to some great music from 6 to 8 p.m. as the sun starts to set over our great city. Want to get more involved in the community? The Citizens Police Academy is a great way to do that. It's a free 15-week training program on Thursday evenings. Anyone 18 and older in Jefferson County can get hands-on training in various programs and divisions throughout the police department. The next session starts August 15th. To apply, go to police.beaumonttexas.gov/CPA. Tennis enthusiasts can earn some big bucks by competing in the longest-running tennis tournament in Texas. The 104th Annual Labor Day Tennis Tournament is coming up August 23rd through the 25th at the Beaumont Municipal Tennis Center. This year, the Open Division will feature prize money of $10,000 across all divisions. In addition, the Junior Division will be sponsored by our own Councilman Mike Getz in memory of his late wife, Allison. And money raised by the Southeast Texas Tennis Association helps to support youth programs and scholarships across the city. To register, visit settennis.com. The library's third annual STEAM camp is happening this coming Monday, August 5th from 6 to 9 p.m. at the Downtown Event Center. It's a free end of summer event for students. This year, there are 2 new experiences, Roll With Us, featuring some big trucks, and an exciting show from Gator Country at 7 p.m. There's no need to register. The camp is free, open to everyone, so just show up at the event center August 5th between 6 and 9 p.m. The city's Parks Master Plan is still well underway. We're excited for the great things to come for our area parks, and we're still looking for your input on what you would like to see in our future additions for our Beaumont parks and green spaces. So be sure to take our survey. It's open for a couple more weeks. Go to the city's Facebook page and click on the link to share your thoughts. And finally, we want to give a big welcome to our 2 newest directors to the City of Beaumont. Kenny Smith is our new Facilities Maintenance Director. Miss Carmen Williams is the city's new Human Resources. They're both awesome people, and we officially welcome them to our great city team here. And that's all.
Thank you. Next, we have a presentation on the status of the construction projects within Beaumont from Mr. Dave Collins, the TxDot engineer.
See here. Oh. Just in case. All right. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, council members, and thank you, Beaumont staff, for inviting us again here to give you an update of our projects going within Jefferson County. So we're going to kind of change it up a little bit. We had a presentation of a PDF, so we're just going to kind of walk through the projects of what we got active right now and the future projects that we got planned in the next 4 years. So I'm just kind of walk through here. Uh-oh. Oh, it's not on there. Thank you. It looks like we lost it here. Give me 1 second. So it shows on your screens. Apologize, I didn't know you didn't see anything here. Did it pop up? Okay, thank you. Thank you. All right, so what we got here in red, that's our active projects we going on. As y'all know, right there north of Highland Bayou, we did an overlay on the main lanes. We still got to do a polymer overlay of the bridges around Keith Lake Road, Cooks Lake, Mitchell Road, and Tram Road. We just finished overlaying the frontage roads around Parkdale Mall. That's in this area right here. This area right here. We have finished that. I did mention that we were supposed to finish or get close to finish the main lanes due to the heavy weather that we had back, this past month and the previous month. We've had a lot of rain and a hurricane here that came through, slowed us up down a little bit, but they have started paving southbound in US 69, and I think they believe they're going to start going northbound tonight. So they are working out there tonight. So you're going to see a lot of pavement out there on the main lanes on US 69 at Parkdale Mall. Kind of continue here. I'll get in more depth. Of course, we've got the East Tex right here and the Cardinal Drive interchange, and I'll show a schematic and kind of walk you all through what's going in that area. That's the project I got going here. That's going to probably be completed in probably 2029, both of those projects. We have a project from Walden Road going to pretty much 365, widen 4 lanes to 6 lanes. That's going to be completed within probably about a year. And then from 365 going up to Hampshire overpass, that's going to be completed in about 2026, in about a year and a half to 2 years. So about 2 years, we'll have pretty much the interstate up to Walden Road into 6-lane configuration. We almost finished the project here on FM 365 where it goes I-10 to right here. And it's an overlay and widen job. We just finished that job. We're striping and doing some middle guard fence. Not showing on here, there's 2 little dots here. We are expanding some bridges there over Ditch Creek and Pignut Gully. That is expected to finish here sometime mid next year. We also have another project currently going on FM 124 right there at North Fork Taylor Bayou. And we are hopefully going to get that completed end of next year, 2025. So that bridge will be widened in that area right there. Give you some projects as we head down to South County. I know it's kind of a little bit out of the Beaumont area. We are we're overlaying 69 right there in Central Mall. That should be starting here pretty soon and should be finishing in the fall this year. Got some other projects going on. As y'all know, Rainbow Bridge. We are going to rehab the Rainbow Bridge. That should start here in a few months. All lanes of traffic should be pushed onto Veterans Memorial Bridge. And I don't really manage that job, but I think that's in about a couple years that job will be completed. We have the turbine project right there at the intersection 73 and 69. That is anticipated to be finished late 2027. As y'all know, we took out the 4 clover leaves and we're going to install a turbine. So it's going to be a large loop kind of interacting with all each others as you go through that section right there. We have just finished SH 82 right in this area. When you go over Pleasure Island, that was a widening job and overlay. And, we just last month, we are going to overlay Winnie all the way to Port Arthur on SH 73. So that's I believe, I can't remember, around, I think $20 million. I gotta look at the price. Let me put the click here. A second. Roughly about, it's estimated 27. I think it came underneath that. Apologize, I don't have that exact cost right there in front of me. We are doing a little bit of bridge enhancements on 327. That should be anticipated to finish at the end of this year. We are doing a center barrier project on Highway 73. That just led a few months. We're supposed to start that in this month. We're also doing the frontage roads right here on 73. They're anticipated to finish that in the fall. And we are doing 87 here in Port Arthur overlay, and that's anticipated to finish in the fall also. So that is our current project going on. I want to talk a little bit about what's going on at East Tex and Cardinal Drive. That's the two biggest jobs that we got going inside of Beaumont right now. And I'm going to kind of walk you all through. I don't know why I keep on using that mouse. It doesn't work here. Let's see here. So just give you a kind of heads up. There we go. So as y'all can see here, we have two concurrent projects going on. The orange one is the Cardinal Drive, which we started a little bit over a year ago. And then we just let the blue part, which we call East Tex. We are currently working on the Cardinal Drive, widening the Washington Overpass connector. We're doing the widenings on SH 124 as in 69 South, and I'll kind of go into more detail on that. And we're doing the Hampshire Road and the frontage roads in front of Tinseltown. On East Tex, if you didn't notice, as you drive down south, we are clearing the right-of-way right now. So we got a few months of clearing that right-of-way, and they're going to start building some detours on the eastbound frontage roads, and we're going to have to start the drainage improvements in that area. That's going to go on for about a year or so, and then you're going to also see some widening expansions on the interstate of itself. So let me kind of walk you through the project. Hope I don't bore you all too much. I know it's a lot of lines. I try to keep as much color as possible to make it lively. So let's see here. So as you all can see, this is Walden Road. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. I'm going to kind of go really quick here and kind of talk what I did. So right here, we are working on the frontage roads around there in front of Tinseltown. We are also driving piling right here for the frontage roads over Hillbent Bayou. We are working on the center between the eastbound and westbound lanes, doing drill shafts around this Hillbent Bayou also. Let's see here. As you head your way to the east, going towards Washington College, this is the connector that we're building right here. Williams Brothers is building for us as a connector, the flyover, and that's pretty much what's going on in that section right there. And as we head, going over to College, we haven't done very much work on that. They haven't gotten to that phase of work right here. So let me get to over here at 124. And this is 124 right here. The job ends right there around Finette, 124 right before we get there. They are working on the frontage roads, the bridges, and the expansion on 124, and the U-turn right here at BNSF Railroad. So that's what we got going on Cardinal Drive. Kind of walk you through East Tex. Right now, there's not much construction going on at this point. We're still moving a lot of utilities. Energy's still working on their distribution lines, and we're working on a lot of fiber optic lines relocations and that so forth. So kind of walk you through on East Tex, just give you an idea what the scope of the work we're doing. And if you all wanted to, we do have display boards out there in the hallway. We start from the front door, kind of walking from Walden Road. As you go towards the hallway this way, it heads to the east to 11th Street. So you can see kind of the whole scope of that whole project. If I'm talking too long, please tell me. I don't know what the time limit there is. So just give you a kind of idea. The project does start right there at UPPR, Hollywood Overpass. We go through Liberal and Laurel, right this area right here. And I'm trying to say as much information as quick as possible. And as you always see, this is the East Tex interchange. This is what we had looks like after 2029. Pretty much we're Cardinal and East Tex. We're going to have a 6-lane freeway going east and west, and US 69 there'll be connectors, minimum of 2 lanes going each connector. right now, all you got right here is that they're all clearing all the trees. You can see there's trees right here, and pretty much all those trees have been removed or at least cut down, and they're in the process of clearing the prep right away to start all that. So that's pretty much East Texas Cardinal Drive in about 10 minutes. The update. I'll let Richard talk about our future projects coming up here next 4 years, and if you have any questions for us, please feel free to ask.
Yeah, so I'm Richard Bradley. I'm Dave's assistant. Work with him to manage all the construction and maintenance projects that we have in the area. So let me see if I can work this real quick. Have to forgive me. I'm not quite used to the trackpad.
Yeah, either am I.
Go manual with the buttons here. All right, so as Dave mentioned, he covered all the projects in red. Those are all of our active construction projects. This one down here in blue on 73 is kind of a active and not active project at the same time. This project went to let in May, but the contractor hasn't begun work yet, though. I believe they're going to be beginning work in August. On the 5th, all right. Let's see, and all the purple lines that you see on there are projects that we have coming up between fiscal year 25, which starts September 1st of this year, all the way through fiscal year 28. All right, so let's see. Right here on 124, we have a light rehabilitation project, this purple line right here. That is going to be some full depth concrete repair. We're going to be smoothing out some of the underlying base failures in the roadway, doing some rehab there, as well as doing an overlay of the surface. I believe we're going to be putting back a 1-inch asphalt overlay for a much smoother ride along that stretch of 124. Let's see, right here, let me see if I can zoom in a little bit so you guys can get a bit more perspective. All right, so right here, here's the Cardinal Drive interchange project that we're working on right now. This purple line stretching straight below from it, that's on the main lanes of 69. What we're going to be doing there is we're going to be winding the highway. Right now we have 2 lanes in both directions. We're going to be winding it to the outside so that we have 3 lanes in both directions. I believe that project's going to be kicking off shortly around fiscal year of 27. So we'll definitely want to be on the lookout for that. As well, it's a little hard to see on the screen, but in the same area, there is another purple line. This one traces both of the frontage roads along this area right here. What that is similar to the frontage road projects that we have going on right here in front of Lamar, where we're removing all of that bad concrete pavement and putting in some much smoother, much nicer riding surface. We're going to be doing the same thing up here. We're going to be rehabbing all the concrete on these frontage roads as well. Let's see, out here towards 90, going from Major out towards the county line, what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be putting some positive barrier in the median. We're going to be improving the shoulder on the outside, doing some base repair also again for to help the longevity of the project. We're also planning on putting 2 new traffic signals pretty close to Major Drive, I believe at Wooten Road and Keith Road, to help with or to help alleviate some traffic issues we have going on over there. Let's see, what else do we have going on? This stretch of I-10, you'll have to excuse this line, I believe it's supposed to stretch from 365 down to the county line right here. Or no, I'm sorry, this is the frontage roads actually, out near Hampshire Road. What we're going to be doing here is, well, if you've driven on those frontage roads, they're in pretty poor shape right now, but we're going to be doing some major rehab, reconstructing that area so that it rides much smoother. Similar right here on 365 at Road Air Gully, we're going to be doing some bridge repairs. We have that planned for much later on, I believe, midpoint of fiscal year 26. And one more project that I apologize was not put on here, but we do have a sidewalk project, a pedestrian improvement project going from on College Street between Pinchback all the way to I-10. We're going to be constructing brand new sidewalks. We're going to be putting in ped poles, intersection improvements for pedestrians and bicyclists, just to help make that stretch of College Street much more safe for our pedestrians. I apologize. At the top of the county, we also have this stretch along 69 main lanes from Tram Road up to the Lumberton Y. As you've noticed, between, say, Delaware to Tram Road, we've widened from 2 lanes both directions to 3 lanes both directions. We're going to be carrying that from Tram Road all the way up to the split. So and we're going to be tying in right at Tram Road just to give more volume going in both directions. All right, but that is just a brief overview of everything that we have coming down the pipeline and what we have going on right now. But were there any questions that I could field for you guys right now?
Yes, Councilman Durio, then Councilman Turner.
Okay.
Your mic. Chris.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Couple of questions. On Interstate 10, I guess that's northbound between Washington and Hollywood. It's like a obstacle course as far as the potholes go. I mean, you really gotta, when y'all gonna take care, or are you gonna take care of it? Is that in the plans? And also, do y'all have a number where folks can call and report that? Because I have even some, like on a service road, people been hitting holes and blowing out tires. Is there some type of phone number they can call?
Yes, so you can call my office. I'm a little scared to say that right here, but yes, you can call my office, 409-924-6521. We do know that the frontage roads are in very poor condition. That's why we're doing this project right here, for one of the reasons why. There are definitely a pothole right there. Where did I see it? Right there, I think it's College right there before College, actually.
It's like 3 of them between Washington
really
and College.
big. And we'll get the contractor to get that right. But if anyone does see anything that might be a safety hazard, please call me, yes. But please call me. We'll try to get that fixed. I probably should never said that.
Yeah, let's keep our voices down so we can hear him.
Okay.
Phone number is 409-924-6521.
Yes, Mayor. Yes, sir.
Meeting is also recorded.
Yes.
That's all I had.
Yeah, thank you, Councilman.
Councilman Turner.
409-924-6521.
Yes, sir.
Messing with you. But when I first got on council roughly 3 years ago, the timeline we were told was 2028. Is it the reason we're now seeing 2029? We experiencing delays? Is it material?
Yeah, I won't say material. We did have some issues on some design issues. There was a design, we had to widen the existing bridge to move traffic over for future phases due to safety. So we had to move to additional, so that adds some additional time to that Cardinal Drive. Yes, sir.
And last time you guys came, we did inquire, Councilman Felshaw, I will say he brought this up, between Doggett Ford and Classic Chevrolet. We repaved that area, and I know that you mentioned drainage earlier, but that area floods very heavily normally when we rain, and citizens can't get in and out or use that area. I see we repaved it. We asked last time we were going to look at some drainage. Do we have any update?
No, I have not looked at that just yet. I do apologize. We're still researching that. So I know those inlets, they're old. So they have an old metal casting pan design. And I don't know if it's rusted or something, but the can has fallen in some of those openings, only about 1.5 inches. So we are looking at possibly getting to redo those inlets, at least the ones that have fallen. Yes, sir.
Hopefully we can get it done.
Yes, sir. And the overlay, so just to give you the hindsight, we didn't reduce that, the throat opening. So we milled out about 3-foot shoulder in that concrete where we tied that asphalt to the concrete. So the opening is still the same as it is.
All right, thank you. That's it, Mayor.
All right. Thank you. Any other questions? All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
The last presentation is we have an artificial turf update from Mr. Kenneth Raguette, Director of Parks and Green Space.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So I'm here to give you a little more information on the artificial turf. As we all know, we had the fire that destroyed 39 roads. The turf that we have on hand now is a professional grade. Of course, our turf was donated and it's used. So it's hard to find used professional grade artificial turf. So the closest thing that I can find is a commercial grade. And it runs about $25,000 to replace what we have now, not including delivery. I still suggest that we go on with hydro seeding with a natural fill out at the Sprott Park. We had numerous citizens come up and express that they wanted to use the field, from school-age kids to adults. The artificial turf that we have is not really made for adult play. But if we go ahead with this hydro-seeded field, everyone can enjoy it. I think we'll have a much better field, a field that we can be proud of, a field that the Parks Department can take care of. We have a robot striper. We can keep it all striped and just ready for everyone to play. Again, if we want to go with this, we should have acted weeks ago, but we really need to get started if we want to have this for the fall season. Any questions?
Councilman Turner?
With the delay and the time being of the essence, what are some things we can possibly run into if it's delayed any longer?
I actually thought about, we have a lot of parkland. We can actually stripe a field somewhere else until we can get this field ready at Sprott Park, because we want the grass to be adhered, good root system before we let people go out and play on it. So I think we could probably use another park in the area and basically prep it, stripe it, and let people enjoy that until we can get that field properly installed.
Councilman Duria?
I think we spoke about this, but for the public, can you let them know, you said that, if we got some more artificial turf, it was gonna be $25,000. The way you wanna do it, how much is that gonna cost? Is that gonna add something to the budget, or?
About $3,000. I have it in my budget. Okay. So we can do it for about $3,000. And like I said, we have, hydro seeder, staff, and the knowledge to put it in. We just need to get it in. And like I spoke about before, there's a lot of things that we can do with the turf, the artificial turf. Right here, I list Alice Keith Park, Klein, Rogers, Wuthering Heights, Charlton, Pollard, and Sprott. That would be the first parks that I would install some type of pad with artificial turf. Right now, we have the movies in the parks there. And I think it would just be great that we could enjoy that area basically year-round when you have the artificial turf there. The turf can be used in a lot of areas, a lot of different purposes. While on vacation, I was actually in New York City, Rockefeller Center. They actually installed artificial turf and had your cornhole playing and picnic tables set out. So we could do something like that here. We can keep a couple of rows at the warehouse. And if we had something going on at the event center or downtown, and we wanted to put something out like that, we'd have it on hand as well. So there's a lot of options.
Any other questions?
No, Mayor, but I think the parks need some type of direction, because they're kind of under a timeline right now as far as getting that stuff in the ground.
Yeah, it's not a posted item. We can, next Tuesday, we do have a meeting. We can have it as an agenda item at that point to act.
Can I ask a question on there?
Yes.
If the money's already in the budget for Kenneth to proceed with the grass, I mean, unless there's any objection to just moving forward, there doesn't even seem to need to be a vote for it.
Everybody good with the hydro seed?
Council's good.
I'm getting, Madam City Attorney.
So we're not going to do that, but if we're not going to like pseudo vote either.
Okay.
But obviously that was proposed, and there's been no like objection from council, so he can just take direction from his ACM on what to do next. Yeah. I got that. Yeah.
So we do have direction, Mayor. Thank you.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And for those that are here for proclamations and presentations and you'd like to leave, now's the time to do so, and thank you for coming. Okay, we're going to have to clear the entrance because of fire code, but we do have the back conference room where they are streaming the council meeting right now. The audio isn't working on that, but you can bring it up on your phone. But we're not going to be able to allow people to stay in the entryway. So the opportunity to move down to the conference room, which is at the back of the building to the right.
How far can they come down the walls?
Yeah. All right, now is the time for any citizen who wishes to speak. You may make public comments on the consent agenda, regular agenda items 1 through 4, or any other topic related to city business. Item 5 has already been heard in public hearing, and therefore citizens cannot speak on that item. The city clerk will call your name when it's your time to speak. When you approach the podium, please say your address, city, and state. You will have 3 minutes for public comments. The green light will come on when you approach the podium, and the red light will come on when your time is up. Please be reminded that myself and council cannot respond whenever you're making comments, but someone from our office will be in touch.
Tony Renfro, 6110, is at Bankston Lane, Beaumont, Texas.
Good evening, City Council members and Mayor. I'm only here to address the police chief that we discussed on Friday. Oh, wait a minute. I'm only here to address the chief, who's speaking to me. There's something that's going on, okay. All right. I'm only here to discuss what we discussed on 3 Fridays ago. And as I began to write this out, I went to the Webster Dictionary for the definition of scam. It's a fraudulent and a deceptive act of operation. The verb of the scam is to deceive and defraud. As I began to speak to you today, you guys made a decision on 3 Fridays ago that was recommended by the city manager, Kenneth Williams, who have been a huge fresh air as our city manager. Mr. Williams and the city councilman agreed on hiring a special search firm to conduct the search that would bring us the search for the police chief of Beaumont. The city council members invested $50,000 of the council, and the councilman agreed that they will accept the recommendation of the search firm. The search firm recommended to the city manager and his candidates to interview and the vetting of the candidate. And by the way, it was paid for by the citizens of Beaumont tax dollars, the citizen of Beaumont tax dollars. And it was paid for the top professional search firm to vet and find us the very best candidate for our new chief of police. However, I feel like the citizens of Beaumont have been defrauded of the $50,000 of our hard-earned tax dollars. When the 3 councilmen and mayor chose to vote against the recommendation of our tax dollars. Again, the definition of the word scam is deceived and defraud. You 3 councilmen and mayor who voted against this recommendation, like Murray Purvitt would say, you are the scammer.
Thank you.
Clarence Brown, 520 East LG, Beaumont, Texas.
Thank you to our mayor and to our council. I do have a letter today, council members and mayor, that was composed by the Baptist Ministers Union and the Ministers Alliance of Beaumont, Texas. I do have a copy for each of you. If I can hand that to you as I read it. I am the public relation person for the Baptist Ministers Union. I've been asked to read this letter on behalf of them. I'm going to ask all ministers that are here, that's part of the Baptist Ministers Union or the Ministers Alliance, if they would stand at this time as we would read this letter. Good afternoon. This presentation is in response to the process for a new police chief selection. As it was explained to us, a group of concerned pastors and citizens on Monday, the 22nd of July by Councilman Pastor Randy Felshaw. What we understood him to say was that the city manager was given the understanding to hire a firm or a company to conduct a nationwide search for the potential candidates to fill the position for the new police chief. We were told that there was at liberty to spend up to $50,000 without city council approval, of which he spent approximately $25,000 of the taxpayers' dollars to pay for this nationwide search for a replacement of police chief. When the search was finalized by the firm, the company names who submitted to the public to meet and greet event was even conducted before the city managers presented the city council his selection for the replacement of the police chief. After the city manager presented his choice to the city council for ratification, the media reported that his choice was rejected by a vote of 4-3. This is the concern we have because we understand the vote was split down racial lines, 4 whites against 3 blacks, for ratifying the city manager's choice. Pastor Felshaw told us that before the vote, he was told by a fellow councilman or a councilman and some citizens who contacted him that they wanted to keep the selection local or internal. The city council allowed the city manager to spend thousands of dollars on a nationwide search, wasting taxpayers' money, and Pastor Felshaw being told before the vote that they wanted to keep the choice local applies only one of the final candidates of which.
Your time is up. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Linda Pete Gilmore, 1350 Long Street, Beaumont, Texas.
Good evening, everyone. I've gone to the meetings. I've been to the neighborhood associations, homeless coalitions. My home has been vandalized through homeless people. My granddaughter has been abused by the man that stabbed her and tried to kill her. What will the Beaumont Police Department do about this? This is trouble. I've been complaining since 2022. I have a copy of everything. And I've been talking to mayors. I've been to homeless coalition meetings. I've called the police. They say I never return my calls. No one never returned my calls. Chief of Police said, and Channel 12 had me on television complaining about the homeless people, and now it's the drug dealers are taking over now. So what do? Y'all send someone out to get someone to help us, bring us up, not bring us down. So please, let this man, Mr. Williams, do his job. If y'all send him out there to use our tax dollars, leave it there. Because Chief of Police is not doing anything. Is it a racism thing going on here in Beaumont, Texas? Because it's terrible. I'm afraid to come out my house. And it don't make any sense. I'm 67 years old. I've worked in the school district 40 years. Mr. Turner, Miss Reed were my students. They can never say I disrespect none of them. And why the city of Beaumont cannot return your calls when you call the police. They come in my neighborhood maybe once a week. But know what they ask? What kind of cameras do I have? I have cameras that can identify every police car that come in that community. And know how often that is? Once a week. But my tax dollars, I pay it every year. Every year. I had to fuss about the water drainage in the community before the government finished building my new home when I got messed up with the storm. City kept saying they was gonna put new drainage. Fire department never came out. But they'll call my family members and ask me, please ask Linda Pete, don't say nothing. I'm telling the honest God truth. And God bless each and every one of y'all to be fair, be honest. Let Mr. Williams do his job. God bless each one of y'all.
Thank you.
Pastor, and I think that's C.L. Johnson, 2595 Laurel Avenue, Beaumont, Texas.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I want to yield the rest of my time to Pastor Clarence Brown. He's representing the Baptist Ministers Union, where I serve as first vice president. So I want him to finish reading that letter for us.
You can finish it with your time, but we're not yielding time to other people.
Well,
people are limited to 3 minutes.
All right, City Council allowed the city manager to spend thousands of dollars on a nationwide search, wasting taxpayers' money, and Pastor Felshaw being told before the vote that they wanted to keep the choice local applied to only one of the final candidates, of which he has racial issues with the Black community. Another council member, Mr. Turner, was also attended the meeting, said he was not aware of some of the council members' decision to keep the final selection local until later in the process. This delegation of people standing in concern that because the vote for ratification was split down racial lines and the city manager's selection was a Black man after the process was completed. And he deemed that Mr. Price was the most qualified out of the nationwide search. Why was he, the city manager, allowed a ferocious of search that was not going to be considered if his choice was not local and white as it appeared? The message that this process sends to us is that our city is still divided. Race is still a factor in promotion and advancement, and the voice of all the citizens is not heard on an equal basis. It is also rumored that the city manager is promoting too many Black in management positions, in spite of the fact that percentage-wise, Black hold a small minority of management role and positions. And we want you to remember there's another election coming up in 2005, and this process will be remembered.
Thank you.
Jerome Alexander.
Can we please hold applause so that we can maintain order in the meeting? Thank you so much, Ms. Alexander. You go right ahead.
Jerome Alexander, 1118 Avalon Street, Beaumont, Texas.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon. How y'all doing, Councilman, City Councilman? First of all, Mr. Williams and Mr. Duro, I would like to come apologize to y'all because the week before, the last meeting, I didn't make it to the meeting concerning football turf, and I came in here and I made some accusations wasn't right, brother, and I want to apologize to your face. I went on my page and apologized, but I appreciate y'all what y'all doing for the Sprott Park, the football field. I see y'all getting underway. Appreciate it. Appreciate it, brother, for coming and letting them know about the money y'all had and etc. But I'm here today because when I met the mayor, when I met Mr. West, I met Mr. West on my homeboy, Terrell Reed. Anyway, he asked me to help Mr. West win because he had signs. I wasn't in the politics. I wasn't dealing with it. I know politics, wasn't dealing with it. But I was working at Mr. Berger on Lucas Street. So I went to T. I said, man, okay, I help you. So I went and got his signs. I met him at Kroger's. I went and put him in my neighborhood, not knowing. So then I working at Mr. Berger. Mr. Mouton came and said, brother, can I put a sign here? I said, yeah, of course you can. So he went to telling me about the 4 votes. They needed 4 votes to get in, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm trying to go fast as I can. So I told him, I said, well, He said, well, we don't know nobody in North End. I said, well, I know everybody in North End. I said, but you got to go where the people in order for them to speak to them. So I took it there. And the whole time, me and Terrell Reed, we were going back and forth with Mr. West. So after the campaign win, we won. So we come back to this election here. Everything, Mr. West came, he told me, say, look, brother, I told him about the football field stuff, different thing, run this campaign. He said he was going to help us do it. Okay. All the things that Mayor Mouton put in action for us as the black community to help us for the football field, the Salvation Army, Sprott Park, and the city council built our first football team, was the Dallas Cowboys, that was our home field. But I say all to say this, Mr. West, you came into our community, you came into our schools, you came into our churches, you came everywhere. But now look at our black community, bro. It's no, you ain't came nowhere and show no more effort toward that after you won. Nothing. You ain't helped me get the football field or the Salvation Army back like you told me you was gonna do it. You didn't get the clock fixed over here like you said I was gonna do it. And I'm a man of large integrity, man. If you tell me something, brother, all we got is our word. I expect you to tell me why you ain't did it. Something came up with this and that, but you never did. And now you the mayor, and I'm gonna tell you, the whole is 98% of the North End. Them 9% come up and vote when you won. I told you that at the camp when you was with your campaign manager, the lady running for the tax office. But the North End, brother, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. They want AJ for the mayor because he can get along with the people. He know the community and everything. I'm just being honest with you. I'm a straightforward guy. Me and you straightforward. I'm just being honest, brother. The city want this brother here for the mayor, and I'm telling in front of the face, we want him to run because he get along with the community and he help.
Thank you, Mr. Alexander.
Yeah, you're not like us.
I just want to remind the speakers that, please don't clap, please don't clap, please don't clap. Thank you. I want to remind the speakers that when addressing council, you have to address them by their title. It is Mayor West, it is Councilman Turner, so on and so forth. Thank you.
The overflow is now set, so if you're not scheduled to speak and you hadn't signed up, we are going to need to get, make sure we have exit open up.
Irma Lynn Thomas, 2235 Leland Street, Beaumont, Texas.
Good evening to all. Once again, I am here and will be so glad when I can see some ladies up here. Okay. I must say that I am here because I am not very happy. It's not about all of the things that happened, but it's only some. I feel that the leadership of this council is something that I'm truly sad of. If you had given this man the direction that you wanted on keeping it local, it would have been done so, because 68% of our people who work for the city of Beaumont are not local. So you didn't give him direction. So you put him in a position where he spent our money, but not only that, you allowed this incident to tear up our city over racial lines, over your lack of leadership, of not being proactive about telling them what to do, and now you're going to react. And now the city has been in a turmoil that we did not have to be, but because of your failed leadership as our council.
Let's just lower our voice some, please.
Do better. Do better. And I'm just saying, you've created chaos in this city over your lack of leadership and your reaction rather than your proaction. He would have done anything you asked him to do. You didn't tell him. So now we are suffering. We've gone back 20 years in this city over this one incident that you, the council, created.
Thank you. No applause, please.
Gina Taylor, 5735 Essie Lane, Beaumont, Texas.
Hello, it's such an honor to be here. Thank you for having me. I don't like the lack of unity that has been shown here when selecting our next chief of police. In addition, it's inconsiderate to change your minds after agreeing to hire a firm to find the best candidate for the position. We, the taxpayers, paid a significant amount to ensure that we get the best of the best. These candidates, including local applicants, all underwent an extensive interview process, and one was deemed the most qualified to our city manager. This was a fair process. It wasn't biased, and I don't like that we're wasting time and money on personal preference. Beaumont deserved the best of the best, and we invested heavily to secure that. Our in-house or out-house, every candidate was put their application in, and sadly, some didn't make the cut. I trust that the city manager decision and believe that it wasn't based on popularity, age, race, gender, and I believe that he was not influenced or moved by any of the outside entity of power in this area. It was a business decision, and I believe he is well qualified to make the best decision, not to mention we are paying him a pretty good penny. Our four who wavered in their decision, we all make mistakes, but I would trust after this decision that we will all come on one accord. We are all women and men of God that is standing up here. And so I pray that you all seek the counsel of the Father, because he knows what is best at the end of the day. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Albert Harrison, 1240 Ashley, Beaumont, Texas.
Good afternoon. Albert Harrison, 1240 Ashley Street. Mayor, City Council, other city employees, other concerned citizens. The comments I wanted to make have pretty well been made already. So I will do somewhat of a follow-up. And these comments are basically follow-ups to my comments of the last council meeting. As in that particular meeting, I explained some of my objections and reasons why I felt that there should be a black chief of police. Now I will emphasize to you a little bit more reasons for that. After talking with some of the individuals within the community, I noticed that the police department at this particular time has problems in solving some crimes because of cooperation from individuals that have committed crimes. In conversation with those individuals, come to find out, most of those individuals do not wish to cooperate as to what they see as racial police officers or officers that have identified themselves as they don't give a damn about Beaumont. They don't live here. So the problem is basically you have at least 60% of your police officers that live outside of the city of Beaumont. Something's wrong with that picture. Now, y'all city council approved that the chief of police could hire outside the city of Beaumont, but that was a mistake. So now it's time for you to react and show yourself to be, as one might say, to have that, what we call integrity about yourselves and honor about yourselves to do the right thing. Because right now, the way I see it, it's more than just a racial divide. You have a police force that don't care about the city of Beaumont because they don't live here. Please understand that. They don't live here. And I'm going to leave with that same comment. They don't live here.
Thank you.
Kane Dean, 255 College Street, Beaumont, Texas.
Evening, Mayor, City Manager, Council. keep it brief. I represent the BPOA, Beaumont Police Officers Association. I'm the president. Late last week, along with the rest of the community, the BPOA learned from local media sources there was a new list of candidates being considered in the pending search for a chief of police for Beaumont. The Beaumont Police Officers Association was excited to see that there were 4 candidates from the interior ranks of the Beaumont Police Department. This enthusiasm, based on a long tradition the Beaumont Police Department has for producing outstanding leaders. Leaders have been forged in fires of natural disasters, loss of friends, manpower shortages, daily life, and oftentimes a very demanding and sometimes thankless job. Our hope is that every member of the Beaumont Police Officers Association succeed both personally and professionally in their life and their career. All 4 of the members that are more than qualified, and any one of them is capable of stepping up and being the next chief of police for the city of Beaumont. Naturally, only one can move forward as the chief. That being said, we express confidence with the city manager's decision to submit Captain Tim Osnaschek as the next chief of police. We look forward to serving the citizens of Beaumont under his leadership. Thank you.
Thank you.
Reverend Aaron Reynolds Jr., 6945 Salida Lane, Beaumont, Texas.
Mayor, council, city manager, city attorney, and the citizens that are here. I pose this to the council. How can you serve on the council and not follow the charter that you are governed by? I have been informed by officers that I have relationships with that the mayor has approached the chief of police multiple times in reference to him resigning or stepping down. That is a direct violation of the city charter. Council members have no authority to basically fire an employee or ask the council, will he be held accountable? City manager, city attorney, it's your duty to be honest, transparent, and investigate this and give the community an update. Most of us already know what the outcome will be. It's the good old boy system. Mayor, you ran on unity, and this vote is the most openly divided I have ever seen on this council in my time in Beaumont. Mayor, I hope this isn't true, but if it is, you should do the right thing and step down immediately. If you don't, we will remember this in May 2025.
Glenda McCray, 890 Norwood Drive, Beaumont, Texas.
Hello. Good afternoon. I have notes because I do get off topic. So as a taxpayer, concerned citizen, I'm concerned and I'm disappointed about the actions of this council. With the crime rate of 50 per 1,000 residents, Beaumont has one of the highest crime rates in America compared to all the communities of all sizes, from the smallest towns to the very largest towns. One's chances of becoming a victim in either a property crime or violent crime in this beautiful city of Beaumont is 1 in 20. It saddens me because we're number 2 of the dangerous cities in the state of the Texas. And I'm a citizen of this city for all my life, over 60 years. And I love Beaumont. So I'm gonna go back to my notes. So why, with 3 councilmen and the mayor, first choice for police chief, why would they not accept, or why would they vote against the recommendation of the city manager, I have no idea. I was looking forward to somebody new, not nobody local, somebody new, some fresh blood to clean up this mess. I've been here. It saddens me. I'm an educator in this city, and it saddens me when I hear of children and young adults and even older adults committing crimes. We need it cleaned up. And I was looking excited when they say a national search. I don't care if they black or white. I don't care. I just care that it's going to be somebody that's going to clean up this mess, this city. Because I want to be proud to live here. I want people to come back home. And they're not wanting to. When they see this, it's dangerous. So over $30,000 of our taxpayer dollars were used for a national candidate. A candidate was selected, a candidate was presented, and the choice was interfered with by 3 councilmen and our mayor, stating that they were against the choice and they wanted someone locally. You should have said that the first time. You could have saved $30,000. I pay taxes. According to Article 5, and I could read it, I have 8 seconds. Interference is not allowed by the council. It's prohibited. So let's just not interfere.
Thank you.
Allow him to do his job. Thank you.
Patrick Evans, 2205, I think that's Lori Lane, maybe, or Laurel, Beaumont, Texas. Laurel?
2325 Columbia Street.
Who?
2325 Columbia Street.
Okay.
I don't live at that Beaumont EWC office.
Okay.
I'm the president there. My name is Shedrick D. Evans. To the mayor and city council of Beaumont, good evening. The Beaumont branch of the NAACP would like to express our deep dissatisfaction with council to the current selection and process for the next Beaumont Chief of Police. Several months ago, our current BPD chief let it be known that he would be retiring in the near future. As such, the city manager informed the council he would like to hire a consulting firm to do a nationwide search for a new chief of police. And it would be approximately $30,000 to hire a firm to conduct such search. Upon the notification to the council, were no objections to the city manager proceeding with his process. And in doing the nationwide selection, you look for the very best. That's how y'all hired the city manager. Y'all did a nationwide search. And y'all got it from Buda, Texas. Sometime in February, the city manager hired African public consulting firm that came up with 58 applicants from across the country applied for the position. From those 58 applicants, 5 were selected as the finalists to be the next chief of police. Up to the point, there had been no new discussion or concern about the process. It was only that Friday, July 12th, when the city manager submitted his recommendation, that all of a sudden, the council members expressed some newfound concern. And the person he submitted was Mr. Troy Price from Vancouver, Washington, the state of Washington. It was this meeting that 4 council members expressed concern
that had never been expressed before. These 4 council members decided they wanted the new chief of police to be someone local. When,
Thank you, sir.
thank you.
Wilma Low, 5925 Meadowview Road, Beaumont, Texas.
Thank you. Good evening. Let's analyze the new requirement. With DEI being a mantra ostracized across the country, especially in Texas, it is with some trepidation that we believe this new requirement was a way of ensuring white privilege. Because only one candidate among the 4 finalists on July the 12th checked the box. And you know the box that's usually added to applications to eliminate qualified minority applicants. Jason Plunkett. Even more disheartening, the NAACP, he was the only candidate that the NAACP vehemently opposed. Not because he is white, but because he has a proven history of racial animus. And those who are unaware of what we refer, we would beseech you to read the Beaumont Enterprises July 12th edition that gives a bird's eye view of candidate Plunkett's past racial issues. This was the NAACP's issue that candidate Plunkett, who on July the 12th was the only candidate satisfactory to the 4 council members who voted not accepting the city manager's recommendation. Now we want to turn to the legal issue. What gave council the authority to interfere with the hiring of a new police chief in the first place? According to the Beaumont City Charter, the city manager has sole responsibility for the hiring and firing of department heads. Not only should council not have the authority to reject the city manager's recommendation, but they have further obligation not to interfere with the process at all. Maybe there was some gentleman's agreement between the city manager and the council that he would pass the recommendation by them. But I fail to see where the gentleman's part of this agreement holds water as far as 4 council members is concerned. Council, by its actions, has fostered an atmosphere of distrust between the different constituencies across the city. White citizens believe they cannot trust the city manager to fairly perform his duties, and Black citizens believe they cannot trust 4 members of council to fairly represent their interests. This is not a situation brought about by happenstance, but a total manufactured crisis. If Beaumont city government and city management cannot work together to make Beaumont a better place to live, how can anyone expect the citizens to work together for the betterment of Beaumont? Thank you.
Thank you.
Natasha Simon Martin, 2205 Laurel, Beaumont, Texas.
Good evening to Beaumont Mayor, City Council, and the citizens of Beaumont. On tonight, I'm representing our local branch, NAACP. The only thing the NAACP is hoping for now is that the city manager's new recommendation is accepted and council, in going forward, lets the city manager do the job he was hired to do without further interference. We would hope that the new police chief makes strides to ensure safety of all the citizens of Beaumont, not just those who are disproportionately receive preferential treatment. We would hope that the new chief will take council's newfound belief in hiring locally seriously. The NAACP does not consider hiring from the area as an interpretation of hiring locally. We are aware that by state law, you cannot require the police officers to live in the city they police. But we would hope he recognizes the importance of hiring officers who live in the city they protect. We would hope the new chief recognizes that a city with a 65% minority population is not fairly represented in a police department that is 78% white. For far too long, we have been told that the police department could not find more qualified candidates. We will not accept that excuse any longer. We hope the city manager sets goals for the new police chief that will increase Beaumont Police Department's minority representation. We hope the city manager will hold the new chief accountable for fostering an atmosphere in the Beaumont Police Department that will give each candidate, regardless of his or her race, a fair chance of succeeding. 4 council members wanted to hire locally. If their intent was a backdoor way of ensuring the status quo, the NAACP will do everything in its power to ensure the status quo does not continue. I would like to file a copy of this with the city clerk. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sean Chavette, 85 IH 10 North, Beaumont, Texas.
Sean Javed, 85 IH 10 North. Honorable Mayor West, council members, Honorable City Manager Kenneth Williams, City Attorney. Thank you for giving us a chance to talk about it. We were here a couple of weeks ago, and I clearly see in listening to everybody today that our city is divided. My humble request to the council, going forward, the new name that is recommended, and then we will have our vote on it. And please wholeheartedly support our candidate. He is our local candidate. That was the pulse of the community, that they wanted our local candidate to be promoted. All 4 candidates, as Mr. Kane said, were highly qualified. And now, since we have one of our own candidate that promoted to be a chief, but that we need to give him a full support, and we're appreciative for all of you. Please support him so he can go back to work. As all of the community members coming up with the problems that they don't agreed that our police department is doing a good job, but I work very closely with Beaumont Police Department. Our police department is one of the best in the country, believe it or not. But we can make it better. But given chance to our new chief, we will be better. Thank you.
Thank you.
Rodney Robichaux, 5255 Merlot, Beaumont, Texas.
Hello, Council, Mayor. Rodney Robichaux, 5255 Merlot, Beaumont, Texas. I've been listening to all these comments, and I had a laundry list of things to compliment all of you, but I can't take what I've heard. I'm going to tell the truth. I was in the meeting with the recruiter, 14 of us, and we directly told him we wanted no one from Chicago, Washington, New York, California. We were adamant local. Whether the city manager got that message, I don't know. But that was addressed personally, and several of the board members are here today, and they can confirm that. I know Councilman Getz mentioned that from here, local. So all these people saying he didn't know, he may not have known if the recruiter didn't forward that message. Councilman Getz said it, we heard it. So we know we echoed local. So, but I want to thank you guys. You know, y'all been through a lot. That situation, we all saw it. We saw it on your faces. The men that cared about this city was painful for what happened and why it happened. It shouldn't have happened. Not here, not in public. It should have been addressed and taken care of. So I hear a lot of things about the manager. I don't know him personally. I know he works hard and does a good job for the city. Everyone can do improvements. Improvement, if he knew and didn't perceive it, that's up to him. You know, when a city manager calls a meeting for the city department heads and you're late consistently, it's disrespectful to our city, to our employees that we, the people, all pay. So there's areas that we can all improve, and we support that. You know, we bring it up to get better, not to condemn it. You know, as an employer, if that happens in my company, I'm going to address it. The people need to know you got to get better. You got to take it serious. The people count on you. So I want to thank you. There's tigers that sit on this council, and y'all fight for us, and people criticize you. I've heard the criticism. They're not up there. I know you guys personally. I'm with you. I stand with you. Right or wrong, we're going to fight through it. We're going to get through it because we do love Beaumont. This is our home. And I said it last time. We go to school together. We work together. We go to church together. We're in the community together. And we all, every one of you can come to anyone in Beaumont that cares, and we're going to stand up and fight with you for the city of Beaumont.
Thank you.
Sean Webb-Lock, 6470 Phelan Boulevard, Beaumont, Texas.
Sean Weblock, 6470 Phelan Boulevard. Good evening, council, mayor, city manager. Thank you for allowing us to be here. This is what democracy is about, for us to be able to get up here and speak and give our piece freely. My request is that as council, as leaders of this city, we're all looking up to you, from our youth up to your upcoming leaders coming through this city. Everyone is looking up to you as our city leader, city manager, council, and mayor. My request is that you all do whatever you need to do, whatever you feel you need to do in your hearts, in your minds, and by your God, to get on one accord, because we are all watching you. You all are supposed to be leading by example, not saying that you are not, but right now it doesn't feel like it. This police chief hiring process has presented our city with a reality check and, quite honestly, a crossroads. The city manager did the difficult job for you, in my opinion. He did the difficult job for you. He took the difficultness out of it. You wanted, some of you, most of you wanted your selection of a candidate for police chief. He did the difficult job for you. He took your candidate of choice off of the plate. So when your candidate of choice was taken away, the question is, why reject his recommendation with Mr. Price? Why reject it? Your candidate was clearly taken off of the table. So why reject his without a valid reason? None of us yet have been able to give us a valid reason. And so here we are today. That's water under the bridge. Here we are here. But we're not going to sweep it under the rug, because if we don't address it, we'll never get past it. And so with that being said, we feel as a community that the city manager is doing exactly what he's being paid to do, and he's doing a great job of it with the resources and with the support that he is being provided. So please find it in your hearts to support him. Support our city manager and his decisions, his professional decisions, which is what you hired him to do, and the decisions you hired him to make. And I don't want to leave from this podium from saying this. You know, I think I speak for all of our community when I say this. For us, it wasn't about us having a Black police chief. We're fine with a non-African American or a non-police chief of color. However, if there was a community consensus or some type of opposition to the candidate that you have selected or that you would like to see as the police chief, at least let that be heard. Let it be considered. Let it be respected. Non-white mayor, council members, I just want you to think about this. Have you ever had to have the talk with your children when it comes to police, law enforcement? Probably not. But most of us of color in here have had the talk with our children, and everyone behind me knows what the talk is with our children, where we have to.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
James Eller, 3587 East Lucas Drive, Beaumont, Texas.
Good afternoon. So I'm going to touch on a couple of things. We had Proposition B. We voted on some propositions that actually got us to this point that we're at now. There was Proposition B that actually took away 52 chances to grievance our government and changed it to 27 meetings now because of this council right here. They voted to limit our grievance power as citizens. Proposition C gave the city manager the authority to hire who wanted to into the departments, and this council took that away from him. Now, we understand it's the majority white, and I'm going to side with y'all on that because you know why? This is actually your 3/4 population of Beaumont is black and minority. So the deal is y'all took away their rights, their grievance powers, because y'all didn't listen to what they had about the assistant chief. While we're on the assistant chief, why is he actually still here? Why is he still employed with the Beaumont Police Department whenever we have actual officers that are good officers, like Mr. Tim right here? We have individuals like him that could be the head of the department. We have other officers that abuse black citizens, children handcuffed behind their back, thrown to the ground, body-worn cameras. Y'all won't approve those videos. Y'all won't approve for citizens to get those. Other cities, other states, all allow it. Open Records Act, we can get that where we can see and we can fire those individuals, but y'all don't allow it. You can place that vote. We had a majority black council just last term. I hate that fact that we had the majority black council with a majority black city or minority city, and y'all didn't vote for the changes that actually help the citizens. Y'all took that power away. Y'all are guilty just as much as the white individuals up here doing the same thing today. How is that? Y'all don't invest in the black communities or lower incomes, North End, East End, and South End, as y'all do with the West End. You got a dog park, right? We got a dog park over at Ida Reed Park. Anybody that in the West End could drive over to, that was wasted money at double the rate. 87,000 at Ida Reed Park, which that's been there forever. Everybody knew about it. But since they cried about it in the West End, we spent, what, $165,000 for one little dog park? That's ridiculous. You spent $326,000 for one sidewalk along Dowling Road. But you know what? You can't connect $36 million Washington Boulevard project that you left the sidewalks not connected over railroad tracks. Owen Samuels, council member Owen Samuels, had actually asked for a long time back, and I spoke to the man, said that he had asked for the railroad track to have a crossing for the pedestrians from Section 8 housing that don't have enough as it is. Y'all can't even put one sidewalk there that's like 30 feet long, but yet you're going to spend $360,000.
Thank you, Mr. Eller.
Melissa Bradford, 1085 Washington, D.C., Beaumont, Texas.
I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. I'd like to know why the 136th district judge, the 172nd district judge, and these attorneys on 11th Street is being allowed to steal nearly $87,000 total from me, including a Houston attorney, Dick Law Firm. I'm sure y'all okay with me saying this name. These attorneys that the 136th district judge has awarded $37,500 or something of my money as attorney fees, while he knows they're not entitled to attorney fees because they're pro se litigant attorneys representing themselves. And that is case law. It says it right here. Here it is. A party must be represented by an attorney to secure an award for attorney fees. The attorney fees may be in-house counsel, and clearly they're not. So you tell me how they're allowed to steal nearly $87,000 of my funds and they're pro se attorneys representing themselves. So that goes against case law. And furthermore, this judge, the 136th district judge, he has no subject matter jurisdiction over my case. Because even with the contract that I signed with these attorneys, it has a mandatory arbitration clause, which means all cases go to arbitration and cannot be heard in any legal proceeding. This judge has asserted himself, his top campaign donors on 11th Street, and they're also his mutual acquaintances and business partners. He asserted them in my case and himself to try to pretty much get them to sue me for whatever. As I've said before, they try to put sanctions on me to get my money that way. They try to sue me for defamation and slander. They've been trying to sue me different ways. And the judge in Harris County, she actually did the right thing by denying them attorney fees. And this was just in April. For the past 2 years, this 136th district judge has been trying to award them attorney fees, clearly breaking the law. Now, I have a complaint pending against these lawyers with the commission. They finally decided to investigate 2 weeks ago. So we'll see how that goes now that it's going to be handled in Washington, D.C. And as I've said before, I've been trying to hire an attorney to assist me. This judge won't even allow them to even attend my hearing so they can get familiar with my case to let me know if they're going to be able to help me. They're trying to get me to have my hearings held inside that courthouse. And I've already met with the mayor about that situation regarding these safety concerns. I've sent him evidence of safety concerns, people following me around everywhere I go, white people in particular, follow me around in Houston. As soon as I walk out of Lubis, caught the white man taking my picture. And I walked right up to him and took his picture.
William Johnson, 1045 Madison Avenue, Beaumont, Texas.
Good evening, City, Beaumont, Mr. Mayor, Council. William Johnson, 1045 Madison Street, Beaumont, Texas. I'm here today complaining. I've been complaining ever since 2022. Look, this debit card, I mean, all of y'all got one. But in my case, I got this from Chase Bank. This is the third one. All the other ones I got, I had 2 or 3 people on the other end of each one of them. These charges that I'm showing y'all here on these papers, I ain't responsible. I'm responsible for all of them, but I didn't do none of them. I mean, these charges is on my account because I had this debit card with Chase Bank, and Chase Bank got 2 or 3 other people charging my account with these monies. Now on the 3rd and the 7th of 2024, I also went to the police department behind this, and I talked to the chief, and he told me that he was investigated, and that was about 3 or 4 months ago. Now, I came back the 3rd and the 20th of 24. I filed with the police about this $700, $900, all of these are charged to my account. I mean, you know, all you gotta do is walk in the bank and the banker give whoever come into it $900 of my monies, $700 of my monies, $500 of my money. I mean, I'm here seeking help. I mean, I've been seeking help, but all this is out in front. I got a bank. The bank, I got one debit card. I'm a bachelor, but I got charges at Walmart for $78 or HEB for $90. This is all in 1 week. I complain. I go to the police station. I get the numbers to call, no answer. 3 or 4 times, no answer. I get a letter from the police chief, and I haven't heard from him since. And that was on the 3rd and the 7th, this year. I'm seeking, y'all. I'm needing help because I see my money being gone or just taken. I filed with the U.S. District Court, all kind of records backing this up, disputing or my debit card, or they, how you say, go in your account and take what you want when you want. On the 12th and the 12th, somebody went in my account and took $700. On the 7th, on the, what was this? The first and the 20th,
Thank you, Mr. Johnson.
$100. Who do you see? Is it just like everybody else saying, y'all just taking?
Thank you.
Just because you can take. Thank you.
Addie Allen, 9695 Gross, Beaumont, Texas.
Good afternoon, Mr. Williams, City Manager, Council, Mayor, and other city officials. I'm standing here because in my Bible, Ecclesiastes says everything must change, nothing stays the same. Now, in the Beaumont City Charter, it says that the city manager appoints the fire chief, the police chief, and some others. This city manager did a strategic plan to follow, and each one of you said, yes, yes, yes. Now you get to a point of a critical point in applying what you have in front of you. And that's somebody that you had a search group for, and he came well qualified. You know, when a baby reached for a mom or a daddy, that's trust. And what I see now is distrust. It's got to stop. We look to you to be our stewards of the city. Why do we have to flood this place out for you to hear us? Why? Why? You know, I come up here every Tuesday almost, and you just sit up there and stare at me. When I said somebody shot in my bedroom window, no police has investigated it. When somebody jumped over my 6-foot fence and the police responded, I got a report with nothing on it. And I still have not. I got a letter from legal wanting to know if I wanted to change my mind. No, I don't want to change my mind. I want an Open Records Act. I think, no, I know, to know what this police officer said that didn't properly investigate and told him we had witnesses. My neighbor called me and said, Miss Addie, why is this man jumping your 6-foot fence? Okay. He stayed there. His boss came. The police didn't do anything. I went to internal affairs. I called the police chief that's about to retire. In March, I never have gotten a return call. So you got a culture that needs to be fixed even if you get a new police chief. There's some internal things, ethics, integrity. We all are citizens. We're all children of God. I look different from some of you. But when we go to the voting poll, it has no color, not at all. So I'm just asking you to be fair. Thank you.
Thank you.
LaShawn Proctor, 4680 Jan Carr Drive, Beaumont, Texas.
Good evening. Protocol has already been set to everyone here. I guess in a sense, when I come and I look at this and all the things that has happened in our city here lately, it does shows that, again, as I always say, it's the elephant in the room. And until we address the elephant in the room, this decision has just kind of divided us even more. One of the things that we understand, and I hate how certain things go and how people start pointing the fingers. And that's all as it become a pointing finger type of thing. I don't know much about the process. As the gentleman said earlier, the process, I mean, maybe I need that inside connect so I can understand the inside, what he understand. But one thing that I say about the process, if there was a search board that was done, how did it get to that point? I don't know. If it was a search process that was done, then even when the search company gave the names, it was presented. I would assume, and I'm assuming, it was presented. The search people did the name. They put the name in. City manager just made the decision from however the names were. And now everything is put on him that it's his fault that the people wasn't picked, the hire was picked, or however it was. And I think that's just an attack on his character. One thing that we have to understand is this city is run by department heads in a sense. And from what I understand, and I know just as a city, even when we talk about diversity in our city and how it's made up, it's not very many department heads that's of color. And it doesn't matter. I'm about a person that's most qualified for the job. You know what I'm saying? Because I say, it doesn't matter who it is. If a person's going to do the job, then it's who's most qualified. But when we say that, and even when he goes in and his qualifications and the people that's picked for the job or given the job that's qualified, I know prior to his administration, we only had 2 blacks that was in department head position, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. Now I understand that it's maybe 4 that's been hired in that sense. It's just the best people for the job is what I think. And to attack Mr. Williams, our city manager, and from what I understand, now he's under the gun because of not making a pick of whoever it was. I just say to our city council and to all of us, we have to fix the divide that we have in our city. And if we don't fix the divide that we have in our city, it's only going to get worse. I know in the last thing, it was everyone said that their constituents called and said that they did not like the pick. And when you look at that, it was divided at that point because constituents that said vote against, it was just how it looks. And then the other side said vote for. And that's where our divide came in. And if we just look at our constituents are calling and saying this is what they feel, then that already says that our city is divided. So how do we fix that? Who are the persons that come in and just stand up for what's right? It's not about color, black, white. We already understand the makeup of this city. I can go back and how things are was the past, but in moving forward, if we want our city to grow and to be better, then we have to do what's best for our city. Put aside race, put aside color, and what's best.
Thank you, Mr. Proctor.
Christopher Jones, 1045 Doucette Avenue, Beaumont, Texas.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. We, some concerned citizens of Beaumont, gather today to voice our deep concerns regarding the leadership and governance of our beloved city. Our collective presence underscores our unwavering commitment to fairness, transparency, and integrity in our city's administration and governance. Every voice in Beaumont deserves to be heard, and we stand together to ensure our city is led justly. Today, we understand and address the unwavering support of our city managers to efforts to bring exemplary leadership to Beaumont. The city manager's purpose proposed a rigorous, transparent process for hiring the next police chief, conducting a nationwide search to secure the best candidate of our community. However, it is deeply troubling that Ward Council 1, Ward Council 2, and at-large council and the mayor rejected his recommendations after significant resources were invested. This not only squanders taxpayers' money, but also undermines the transparent process established by the city manager. We demand that the alleged conservative members of council fully support the city manager's decision respecting the integrity of the hiring process and the interests of our city. We must confront the issues of diversity, equity, and inclusion within our city's leadership. Whispers among the aforementioned office holders who were elected by a diverse community have questioned the city manager's hiring practice, particularly regarding minority representation in leadership positions. Beaumont's rich diversity should be reflected in its leadership and manpower. The city manager is commendably trying to advance this goal by seeking to hire diverse and professional individuals. Our leadership should mirror the community, and as we address to the members of council our desires. To correctly to correctively address the mayor and some council's engagement or lack thereof within our community. While the mayor is visible in the public, there is a noticeable lack of direct communication, responsiveness, and representation on the dais of our concerns. Moreover, we know that the mayor has violated the city charter by directly asking for and rushing the exiting chief of police to resign, and that is alarming to many individuals within our community. Furthermore, the aforementioned council members undermining support and seemingly corrupt favor for a divisive candidate. The rest of our comments will be submitted for the record. Thank you.
Thank you.
LaDonna Sherwood, 5265 Richard Drive, Beaumont, Texas.
How y'all doing today? LaDonna Sherwood, 5265 Richard, Beaumont, Texas. Today, I'm unhappy. And I'm unhappy because I feel like a lot of what's happened today was unnecessary. In some ways, I think if we could answer some questions about if the council was a part of the process of choosing the police chief before the process began. Did the council know that there would be a nationwide search and that there would be a fee? And I guess if the council took into consideration that beautiful Beaumont is in fact 60% minority. I guess the reason that I ask those questions is because many of you ran for office on unifying Beaumont or building a better Beaumont. And I feel like this issue could have been completely avoided with honest and transparent conversations that would not be tearing this community apart the way that it is. And it's totally unfortunate and it's totally unacceptable. And I feel like the council should be ashamed of itself on some level. The city manager, I feel, is doing a super fantastic job given these current conditions. My hat's off to you, sir. Building a better Beaumont is not, in fact, about building new buildings. It's not about streets, it's not about drainage, and I've said this before, building a better Beaumont is about the fabric of Beaumont and its leadership and the people and what we're willing to do and the sacrifices that we're willing to make and the integrity that we're willing to show. And I mean, many of you up here consider yourselves to be Christians. And I'm upset and I'm unhappy because I love Beaumont. I hate to see us in this situation that we're in right now. It's totally unfortunate. It's totally unacceptable. And I charge each and every one of you, as I often do, you cannot serve two masters. Well, faith without works is dead.
Church, amen. Amen.
Thank you.
Tony Prados, 2130 Sarah Street, Beaumont, Texas.
Council, Mayor, Attorney, City Manager, Tony Prados, 2130 Sarah, here in Beaumont. I'm here representing a lot of the segment of the community, which a lot of us is senior citizens. So in many aspects, I was gonna say a lot, but Pastor, you did an awesome job on what you said. So I'm not going to even have to go back into that about where a certain mayor went to somebody's house more than once. So everybody would know what's going on in the city of Beaumont. Okay? So now we have a plot here where now Beaumont has a 65% minority population, 65% minority population. 49.6 is of a voting population. And 78% is our police department population, all white. Now, I invite everybody to do the math. So 13% of the citizens are gone unrepresented. Why is that? So I won't take much of your time. Hello, I won't take much of your time. And it's not us against others. It's about fairness. I love this city. I was born and raised here. And I went to a lot of the schools you all have attended at one time or another. I had children and grandchildren that attended these schools too, and we watched them graduate from here. They moved away because of the unfairness of the city of Beaumont. We were not recognizant of or aware of what's behind the scene. We just, I tell people, I'm gonna come off my cross for a minute. I tell people, we have ridden Dr. Martin Luther King and Malcolm X shoulders so long, we done made them bow-legged. We have. We just got lazy. We just let things happen to us. Why is that? We're not gonna do it anymore. Now, there's some of you on council we have not seen in our communities at all. Some we wear them out all the time. We wear them out all the time. We call and they answer. Thank God. But I'm done. And I just want to say, Mr. City Manager, you got our senior citizen support. I want you to know that. We appreciate you. Somewhere down the line, we got messed up somewhere. And I thank you, and we all thank you.
Thank you.
Our police chief would like to have the very last word. Chief Singletary.
Mayor, Mr. Williams, council members, as you all know, I have been born and raised in Beaumont, never lived anyplace else, never worked anyplace else. 54 years as a police officer in Beaumont. Thank you, Carol. I love this city. I've never gone anyplace else. I've never wanted to go anyplace else. I wanted to make my life here in Beaumont. I am sickened by what I'm hearing today. Some of the folks that have talked bad about us and talking about the crime rate is out of control, they do not know what they're talking about. This weekly, I've talked to folks this week. 3 of them already talked today and complimenting us on what a great job we're doing. It's easy to get up here and make complaints without any kind of verification or any kind of accountability. I did not agree with Mr. Williams, our city manager's first with his process, but he was trying to get everybody involved. That I agree with, and I understood that. Ladies and gentlemen, this has got to stop. This has got to stop. This has hurt us. This has hurt our city. We have Mr. Williams and the council Mr. Williams has come up with a good man. I know this man, and he's been a police officer over 33 years. He is a good man. I almost hate that he's a white man. That makes me sick that I feel like that. He is a good man, and he'll be a good chief. Why don't we give him a chance? Mr. Williams has got a situation in place. I would love for these folks that have complained about the Beaumont Police Department would have come to me. We have a good process. I know a lot of you don't trust it, but ladies and gentlemen, we have got a process in place. We got a good man. That's our candidate. Please let him do his job. Let him give him a chance. I know what these officers go through every day, And I'm sorry that a lot of folks think that we don't have enough white folks, and we need to have police officers, and we need to have more more police officers living in the city. But I'm telling you, I know these police officers. They're good men, and I can understand why y'all would want to live more in the city. And but it's not. It doesn't affect their job, no matter what you think. We have got to give these gentlemen a chance. I know how hard these men work. Thank y'all very much. Let's give them a chance.
Thank you, Chief.
That's all I have, Mayor.
Okay. Is there a motion and a second for approval of the consent agenda?
Move to approve.
Mayor, I'd like to ask that you pull items D, E, and N for consideration on their separately. D, E, and N.
I move to approve the consent agenda minus D, E, and N.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded for approval of the consent agenda minus D, E, and N. All those in favor, please signify by saying.
I have a question, Mayor.
Okay, question.
On M, I would like to see about changing from John Neal to Emily Cox.
Appointments to the.
Yes, ma'am.
So can you pull that one and make a motion for that one separately? So you can just do on the floor amendment to that one.
Just pull M as well?
Yeah, we'll pull M as well, so he can make an individual appointment. That's his appointment.
So the motion will be for the consent agenda minus D, E, M, and N.
Second.
Okay.
Also, I guess it was just a spelling error. The name is not right. My appointee's name.
Okay, so you can correct that when we get to M as well.
Okay.
Discussion.
Any other discussion? Yes, Councilman Turner.
Before we move forward, I see on item B, we said approval to allow Concord EMS to operate an ambulance service in the city limits of Beaumont. Can we kind of update the community on, why and what's going on? Is everything okay, or are we short?
Is there anyone from the fire department or EMS here? Okay, we're gonna get someone to address it.
Just for transport, but I think they have to be licensed or certified through Beaumont to be able to proceed.
Yeah, it's
Well, that would be a vote. Is there any other discussion until Chief White gets here? So is that the only discussion? All right, we'll wait for him to get here. Councilman Turner, there he is.
Chief.
My bad, Chief, on having you sprint down the hallway.
Concord EMS has asked to run transfers in the city of Beaumont, no emergency traffic.
Chief, the ones who don't understand when you say transfers, no emergency tracking, you give me a little more detail.
From our nursing homes and other facilities to like dialysis or to hospital or medical care, things like that. Non-emergency traffic, just doing transfers to help out with other private ambulances that are operating within the city.
Thank you, Chief.
Okay.
All right, any other discussion?
What you say?
So can you, never mind. Okay.
It ends in a T, not a Y, the first name.
We'll get that on M. All right, so we have a motion and a second for approval of the consent agenda, removing D, E, M, and N. And that's been moved and seconded. No other discussion. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is carried. Mr. City Manager, may we go to consent agenda D?
Just a second. Yes, Mayor. Council consider a resolution approving a contract for the addition of a redundant chiller at the municipal court building located at 700 Arlene Street, and it comes with the recommendation of approval of the resolution.
Is there a motion?
To approve?
It's been moved and seconded for approval. Is there any discussion? Councilman Getz?
Do we have a lot of buildings where we have redundant chillers? As I understand it, this is a backup chiller in case our air conditioning unit goes out at the municipal court building. You know, I think that's what, $375,000? Is that somewhere in that neighborhood? Most people that, when their air conditioning goes out, they pay to have an air conditioning guy come and fix it. I don't know if we want to spend $375,000 just to have something on standby just in case. Somebody explain this to me, please.
I can speak to that.
Yeah, get if he's done. Okay. Memo, so I'm not familiar with it, so we can get that answer for you just a bit.
He's familiar with the finance. I'm not familiar with the structure of the chiller. But Kenny should be.
Well, you know, if we had all kinds of money, it'd be nice to have redundant chillers in every municipal building, but.
Jimmy, would you come and address the question about the redundant chiller?
I'm sorry.
The question I have is, do we have a lot of municipal buildings where we have extra air conditioning units, redundant chillers?
No, sir.
Well, why does this building?
Well, that's the command. I mean, if during a storm or an event, if it goes down, that chiller should go down. We have a backup.
Okay. If a chiller goes down, we're going to get somebody from facilities maintenance or from the air conditioning company to come fix it. We're about to spend a lot of money just to have something just in case. Is that what you're suggesting?
Yes, sir. That chiller up there it's got some age on it also.
It's 10 years old.
Yes, sir. And we're probably
Does it have
getting
problems?
15 or so years out of a chiller.
Can I speak to this one there?
Councilman Neal?
Councilman Getz, so typically on a building like this, you would have a redundant unit on it. A lot of times what you'll do is throughout the year, you'll rotate what unit is actually running. And so a chiller is not like your residential unit where your capacitor goes out at home and somebody from Home Depot can come fix it. These are big moving parts, big compressors, fan motors. There's a lot more to them.
I understand that, Councilmember Neal, but we have chillers in other municipal buildings as well. And we don't have redundant chillers. Over the police department, I think we've got a chiller that services that building. If that chiller goes down, the officer's going to be warm for a while until we can get it fixed. We don't put a redundant chiller there.
But I don't know if you would want a building like this to not have redundancy. It's no different than having a generator. I mean, at that point, just say, let the power be out for a little while. But it's nice to have, on a facility like this, to have backup.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of, our budget workshop tomorrow, and what I believe is going to be a very tight budget cycle, that maybe this isn't the year to start putting redundant chillers out there.
Councilman Durio?
Yeah, also the municipal court building, that's where 911 is. That's where our new real crime center is also. And correct me if I'm mistaken, but those chillers keep those computers and everything cool and keep them from malfunctioning. Is that correct?
Well, it just controls the temperature in the building. It's an air conditioner is what the chiller is.
Well, saying if one of them goes down and we don't have one, couldn't all that equipment start malfunctioning if it get overheated?
Absolutely, if it gets hot enough.
Okay.
Councilman Philshaw?
So just for the sake of everyone, could you make it clear what all is housed within this building? What are we talking about?
311, 911, the new RTCC, the police patrol unit, and of course, municipal court.
And I think the emergency operations center is in there too.
EOC.
The
EOC is in there.
So if we lose it during a storm, the EOC would be a problem.
Yes, sir. And that it runs on that chiller won't just be sitting there. So it runs on like a lead lag. So in other words, the new chiller will run sometimes, it'll shut off the old chiller. So it's not just sitting there waiting to be used. It will be used throughout the day. One will run for a little while, then the other one will run.
Is this something you feel like we need to have?
Yes, sir, I do.
All right.
Any other discussion? All right, we have a first and second on item number D. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is carried. Mr. City Manager, may we have the reading of item number E under the consent agenda?
Council consider a resolution authorizing the city manager to amend resolution 24-131 for the street rehabilitation citywide phase 5 rebid project. And it comes with a recommendation of approval of the resolution.
Is there a motion for item E?
Move to approve.
There is a motion and a second for approval of item number E. Is there any discussion? Councilman Getz?
I guess this question might be for Bart. Bart, this is to amend the previously allocated funds to do some work at one of our maintenance facilities?
What happened with this is we put out a bid for streetwide rehabilitation phase 5, and we included the road at the wastewater treatment plant at the time as an additive item. But because we did not have a resolution on bond money at the time we awarded everything but the additive item. Then when we came to council the first time and we put it as a change order, it basically took up the majority of your ability to change order a contract. So you're limited by state law to 25%. So what this item is doing is changing the language to what it should have been included within the original contract amount so that we still have some room for change orders with the contract. So it's a technical change to when you previously awarded the additive item for the wastewater treatment road. It's no additional money.
All of the road for the wastewater treatment road is within the confines of a city municipal.
Correct.
So the public does not have access to that. Is that correct? It's city employees primarily?
Correct.
So why are we giving a line item for barricades of like $5,000? Can't we just tell our employees to avoid that? I mean, do we need to?
We still need to control traffic with the firing range in the back of the facility, plus our employees. And I did misspeak. There are some commercial traffic of not jet trucks, vac trucks to dump to those drying beds. So there is some commercial traffic back there to those as well.
All right, thank you.
Any other discussion? All right, there is a motion and a second for item number E. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is carried. Mr. City Manager, may we have the reading of item M, please?
Okay, first, Mayor, I'd like to apologize for staff that can't be in the room, so that's what the delay is. We have a full room tonight, so some of them are out in the full atrium, so it's a delay if we need them. Item N, council consider resolution approving the purchase of a street sweeper tracking software from a.
No, we're going to M, I'm sorry.
M, okay. Well, let's try it.
I think there were two corrections that were being asked for.
Item M, council consider resolution creating and appointing members to Parks, Recreation, and Open Space Master Plan Steering Committee. And it comes with the recommendation of approval.
So whoever makes the motion, can you motion that it be with the correction to replace John Neal with Emily Cox, and to make the notation that the appointee is Janet Polar and not Janie?
And the first name of my appointee is Gay Richardson, G-A-Y, not Gary.
Let me see that.
I'll make a motion to approve changing Jancy to Janet, removing John Neal and putting Emily Cox, and changing the first name from Gary to Gay.
And all other items.
And all the other items.
All right.
Second.
There is a motion and a second. Councilman Getz, seconded. Is there any discussion?
Can we just confirm the spelling? It's G-A-Y. Thanks.
Yes.
All right, so there's a motion and a second for item number M. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is carried. Mr. City Manager, may we have the reading of item N?
Council consider a resolution approving the purchase of a street sweeper tracking software from a company in Canada to be used by the Streets and Drainage Division, and it comes with the recommendation of approval of the resolution.
Is there a motion for consent agenda item N?
Move to approve. Second.
There is a motion and a second for, Councilman Turner. And Councilman Durio made the motion. Councilman Turner seconded. Is there any discussion? Councilman Getz?
So as I understand it, this is to be able to monitor where our street sweeper is going. And it comes with a price tag of initially around $60,000 and then an ongoing $15,000 a year. I think there's probably some other benefits of having this as well. There's some camera features, and maybe there's some other good things that technology is offering us. But again, we are in a budget year in which we're going to face a lot of challenges, and I do not think that this is the year to do something like this. And my other concern is, who is going to monitor all this data that is going to be able to be provided by this software? Who at the administrative level is going to be reading this on a daily basis to glean the information that we can get with this technology?
Go ahead, Bart.
The streets had reached out to IT to try to better plan and optimize the street sweeping in the city. So we have set zones that we go and sweep, but we don't really have those routes programmed in an efficient manner. And so we were looking initially to try to see if we could do that through City Works, to be able to measure each day with the work orders exactly which streets were swept in which zone, make sure they're all done, and then be able to optimize the efficiency of those routes. After looking at it, they figured that City Works couldn't do an optimum job, and they had come up with this software as their recommendation to meet what we were asking for.
City Works can't monitor where the street sweeper goes each day?
We have tracking through fleet, so we can do that, but we can't get a reporting that says that sweeper A did 10.4 miles on the day. It's just not easy to pull that data out the way it's structured. And we can't predict or map out exactly how the route should go efficiently with that software.
We can't ask the driver each day.
That's what we do now. I mean, the driver drives the zone to the best of their knowledge.
Can we do that for a little while longer?
Well, we can if you don't vote for the software, yes, sir.
Thank you.
Any other discussion?
I have a question, Mayor. I guess if we can operate without it, I guess I need to hear something more convincing on why to purchase it right now.
I have a question too.
Councilman Turner, and then we'll see if.
Boy, so are you basically saying our efficiency isn't really where it needs to be based upon this equipment and the way we're monitoring it? You're saying we can ask them every day, but is that legitimately accurate?
Well, again, what we started with was we were looking to optimize our efficiency with the routing of the sweepers. And we were hoping to do that with the CityWorks package that we already had. And when IT found that it wasn't capable of doing that, this is the recommendation they came up with. So we were looking to improve from where we operate today.
So you feel like the efficiencies would be beneficial based on the cost in terms of productivity for the?
It'll let us track the miles each sweeper does so that we can tell what was done during an operating shift. We can actually report and make sure that all of the roads within the zone were done rather than having to go try to see that they were done off the map with the GPS tracking. So there's some functionality there that'll make it a lot easier for us to manage the sweepers.
Councilman Getz?
Is there someone in your department that's going to monitor that data each day to see? Or, I mean, right now, as I understand it, basically there's a log that's created and the driver comes in and contributes to the log. Maybe it's, writing it down on a pad or something, but.
That's basically what they do. There'll be a work order that says that they did zone 10 and then they put in the notes that the roads that they swept within that zone. So you can't report off that data, but we do monitor that within streets. We would monitor this software as well within streets with admin staff if awarded.
Last question. Was it money already allocated in the budget for this particular project?
It was budgeted for this fiscal year, yes.
Okay.
Any other questions? All right, all those in favor of approving item number N, there's a motion and a second. Please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
The motion is carried. Mr. City Manager, may we have the reading of item number 1, please?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I would like to, if it's appropriate, move the selection of the police chief up to item number 1 on the regular agenda.
Okay, that'd be fine.
It's your meeting, Mayor.
All right. So, Mr. City Manager, can we have the reading of item number 2 first?
Council to consider continuing the appointment of a new police chief. And it's coming with the approval of the resolution. Our city clerk, Ms. Tina Broussard, is going to pull up a presentation, a few slides, and I'm going to talk from those slides. First, I'd like to say good evening, council members, and good evening to the public. I really appreciate your interest in this position. I think what we did in this process has done exactly what it was intended to do, to get public input and feel and hear what the people of Beaumont wanted to see in this position. Likewise, get input from this council and what you wanted to see in this position. So based upon the feedback from this community and this council, we are coming to another point in this process tonight. And in that process, I'm coming to recommend or appoint, rather, Mr. Timothy Osnaschek as a candidate for the police chief of Beaumont, Texas. You can go to the next slide. Current situation, we've heard it a lot tonight, but the current situation is the fact that the retirement of Chief Singletary. Chief Singletary did an outstanding job as chief of Beaumont Police Department while I've been here. We worked well together, we respected each other tremendously, and we were able to get some things done for sure. But because of that, we're in a position where we're now are appointing a new police chief and getting council to consider confirmation of that chief. Part of the thing that's complicated this process is the fact that Chapter 143 of the Local Government Code is in conflict with our city charter. The Local Government Code states that the chief executive officer of an organization, which is the city manager in this case, is to appoint a candidate in this process, and the governing board, which is a city council in this case, is to confirm that appointment. However, our city charter states that the city manager makes all appointments of employees of the city except the four that's designated in the in the charter of the manager not to appoint, which is this city clerk, city attorney, and the magistrate judge there. So there's a bit of ambiguity in how that process works. But at this point, we made the appointment, and then we'll come to you for confirmation tonight. The goals for the police chief here was basically we want to do the department in assisting and offering an excellent quality of life. There's no reason that the people of Beaumont should not have an excellent quality of life. And our police department has a key role in that happening in any city, for sure. They were to improve crime rates. We have good department. I'm not saying we're that bad, but anything can be improved. Any organization can be improved. This city organization can be improved. We've been working toward that improvement over the last several months to do that. And also increase departmental efficiency. You know, efficiency is not just that, but efficiency is sometimes working smarter, not harder. We want our employees to be able to be efficient and not be overstressed and work hard. So we want those opportunities presented to us. And again, of course, enhance economic development. Economic development is key to all of us right now. You made it a big part of your strategic plan and what you want to do as a city. If you want to rehabilitate downtown and other areas, you've got to make sure that they're safe. Next slide. Public safety is important. You know, we can talk about it, but public safety is important. You know, we ask about Lumberton, but Lumberton just came out on a list of one of the top 50 safest cities in Texas. We wonder why, and Lumberton's one of the fastest growing cities in the state of Texas. I came from a city that was listed as one of 35 out of 50 safest cities in Texas, and it had a 200% growth rate because it came out on a list like that. It was the 35th best city to live in the state of Texas. And so if we don't have things like that in Beaumont, we can't have reasonable expectations of growth and having the community we all want to have, for sure. But we want to make sure Beaumont's a place where our people want to live, work, and play, and enjoy and feel safe in working here. Next slide. Stay messy process sometimes. There's no clean way to do it, no matter how hard we do it, and how many things we put in place to look at, try to make sure it's the perfect process, but there's just no perfect way to do it. Next slide. Qualifications needed. These are things I looked at and we talked about as we entered into this process. And the first thing I've continuously repeated over and over at the beginning was I wanted to find the person who's the best fit for no matter what we do, it's important that we get what's best for Beaumont. and for the people of Beaumont. And so I think at the end of the day, when we get this appointee, I think we will have the best fit for Beaumont today. That person had to be a leader. You know, it's got to be someone that people will follow. It's someone who can give direction, someone who can be bold and be able to get some things done. Be of integrity. You know, when you're looking, a wise man once said, when you're looking for a good employee, you look for three things. You look for integrity, you look for passion, and you look for intelligence. And if that person doesn't have the first one, the other two don't matter at all. So if a person doesn't have integrity, the other two don't matter at all. So we're looking for someone with integrity, for sure. An outstanding reputation, and a reputation is not the same as integrity. A reputation is what people think of this person. And looking at this process, I'm looking at what people think of this person that's going to be in this position. And with both candidates, I thought about what are the people going to look at this position. Willing to take the perceptions of crime in Beaumont, you know, no matter what we say, really perceived, Beaumont is perceived as having a real crime issue. There's no way around it. You know, we're on top list, we're on other things, so we've got to be able to get out of denial and be able to look at it and be able to take that issue on. Then the ability to work cohesively alongside a diverse community. Beaumont's one of the most diverse communities in the state of Texas. Beaumont might be one of the most diverse communities in the United States. It's probably one of the top diverse cities in the country with the demographics that express here. So you got to have someone that has the ability to work with everyone in this room, everyone in our community, you know, whether they live in the north side or the west end, or whether they live in Per Orchard, you know, whether they live, go to the country club, whether they live in the hood. You got to be able to deal with all people at all times, no matter what. The best interest of Beaumont police personnel. I really care about our personnel, and whatever decision I wanted to make sure that they were taken care of. You know, they have families, they have things that they're doing. They do, and it's a tough job. It's not the best job in the world, especially over the last few years. The perception has been really difficult for people who work in police departments. So we want what's good for them. We want good working conditions. We want things there, but we also want accountability in doing that. And then experienced law enforcement officer, which we asked for a captain to hire. Experienced person, a person who's been through the practical situations, who's been on the street, who's been through the beat, who's been through supervision, who's been through administration, long-time enforcement person. That's what we've been looking for. And then someone who's had a quality education. That way you're taking people not just with practical experience, but somebody who can apply theory and what they've learned and put it into action in a police department. Next slide. And that person tonight is going to be City Appoint Tim Osnaschek. I think the two things that I'm gonna have the most difficulty with Tim is, one, pronouncing his name, two, spelling his name. So after I get past that in the next few weeks, I think we'll be okay, Tim, if you're confirmed tonight. But Tim brings extensive experience to this position. He's with the United States Air Force with over 20 years of service in the United States Air Force, having served at different facilities, including Randolph Air Force Base with law enforcement and the military. Over 38 years of law enforcement experience. He has 32 in Beaumont, but he had experience prior to Beaumont when he was in Live Oak, Texas as a patrol officer, for sure. and a positive community view. I've, during this process and then over the last 2 weeks, I've talked with people in this community, and I'm not a huge social media person, but I glanced at it. I've never gotten this positive of feedback on the employees I have on Tim Osnaschek. It's been overwhelmingly positive from throughout the community for this man. And so that's very important how this community views this person, for sure. And he's very deserving of it. Although he's a long time Beaumont police officer, and talking with Tim and interviewing Tim, he has a willingness to work on solutions to crime concerns. He has ideas about the new things to do, not only just implement the existing, but look at new things. He's so smart guy. So he's willing to do that. He's going to work with the people he has, but I feel good about him being able to explore things that's going to work for the city. And then there's this uncompromised integrity. I've been accused of this too, of just sometimes being too honest and sometimes being, going too far with the integrity thing, as I mentioned to council last week. And I shared a letter with you that expressed that about me. But he has morals, he has values with that integrity, and that means a lot. And that's what this city needs at this point, someone who has that inner ability to do what's fair, because sometimes one person's opinion of what's right is not the other. It's not the same. So I'll say fair in dealing with that for sure. He's a Beaumont citizen. He's been here a long time. He gave me examples about mowing his yard and neighbors coming through and he's not able to finish, and hollering at him. And the other night at the HOA meeting, and said a guy told him, I know you, I saw you walking down the street. And Tim said, he told him, yeah, I know you too, and you drive a yellow truck. So so he knows a lot of people. He knows really a lot of people. He's proven in disaster response, and I'm not here to talk about me, but I was in emergency management for 9 years, and I know quality emergency management when I see it. I worked a lot with the state of Texas. As a matter of fact, I talked to the state of Texas some their techniques. But this gentleman is one of the top emergency managers in the state of Texas as we speak, proven in disaster response. Went to the emergency management conference a couple of months ago, and everyone over there had good things to say about Tim and what he did, for sure. And as I say, I met a lot of them. I met the Jack Collies. I met all of them through the years, and Tim's good. Next slide. And as I start to go to a close, I'll just talk about him some more. He's was a captain of BPD for 8 years, a part of the highest level of administrative team. He worked with the chief and the other assistants and did a great job. His Title IX Administrative Division Commander is what he is. And just touching on his education, he has a Master of Public Administration and a bachelor's in applied arts and science with criminal justice and honors. He had a 4.0 in one, and he was magna cum laude graduate in the other. And I graduated old laude, so I was appreciating it. So I understand. Thank you, Jesus. I've touched on the emergency management coordinator, so we know about that, but it's been 17 years for sure in what we're doing here. And I go back to where I started. It's the right fit for Beaumont, and it says the right fit at the right time for Beaumont. Beaumont's been through a difficult few weeks. If I did anything to cause that, I apologize. But it's time that we move on. It's time that we go and get this right. And I think we have the right person that can get this right for this city at this point. Tim and I have had really good conversations. He understands the challenge. And when we were talking, I'm like, Tim, are you sure you want to do this? And he said, yes, sir. I'm sure I want to do it. I'm sure he feels very confident about his credentials, And so I feel good about it. Next slide is there one more. So I just, my appointee as police chief for the Beaumont, Texas is Mr. Timothy Wayne Osnaschek. I'm working on it. For the chief of Beaumont, and I just implore this council to consider or ask this council to approve Tim and give him a chance for this position. Again, I think he will do us an outstanding job. I think he will lead with integrity. I think he will lead with fairness, but also firmness. You know, with his military background, he's going to do that. So I think he understands that. He understands this community. And I think the people of Beaumont will give Tim a chance to prove himself. So that's my recommendation.
All right, is there a motion for item number 2?
I move that we adopt a resolution confirming the appointment of Captain Tim Osnaschek as the next chief of police of the city of Beaumont.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to appoint Captain Tim Osnaschek, the new police chief for the city of Beaumont, Texas. Is there any discussion? Councilman Felshaw, then Councilman Samuel, and Councilman Turner.
Mr. Williams, your words tonight have been very gracious. And I believe that perhaps that was the beginning of bringing our city back together and bringing healing to a very difficult situation. I know that this is the first time for the majority of this council to go through the confirmation of a police chief. Your analogy of sausage is fitting. And so at this point, I would probably say, I hope we don't have to do this again. But it's necessary, and that's just part of leadership, doing the hard things. I know that there's room for debate and disagreement, and I understand that. I want you to know that the way I interpreted City Code 143 and our city charter is that the state of Texas requires that you speak to the person, but the council is required to get involved in the process. And it's the way I understood it, that our confirmation is there for a reason, that it's to bring a balance, that if it wasn't for that, I'm assuming the state of Texas would have never involved the council, that the council was to be involved just to help bring balance to this. And I do respect the city charter as far as us involving ourselves in employee issues. And I know that you would verify that I've never asked you to consider any one person. I communicated, of course, that I heard from the citizens after the names went out that they wanted us to look local. And for me, that was part of the process of looking local. And so I spoke to the process as I understood the citizens. Now, after the election the first time, I heard from other citizens. But up until that point, I had not heard from, the majority of the overwhelming response I got was, please consider local. And so I just wanted you to know that the way I voted last time was in no wise me challenging you or saying I don't support you, because I do. I know that there's been times that I've had to vote no or yes, falling on different sides of the council, but that doesn't mean I don't support the council. It just means I had to vote my conscience. So I want you to know that I did speak to the process, and that was the way I interpreted the law of Texas. And I sought counsel outside of City Hall and outside of Beaumont, trying to get somebody to help me understand my role as a council member in this process. And so I sought counsel, and I did the best I could. I want you to know that I do appreciate you hearing the council, hearing the citizens. I do appreciate that. And I appreciate your selection. I think Tim's a great choice. And I hope that tonight there'll be a unanimous decision on confirming your selection. And I look forward to Tim, and I believe that he'll have a successful time here as the chief of police. So again, thank you for, your gracious words tonight. Thank you for the hard work you did. And please know that I interpreted the process the way I did, thinking that was my responsibility to be involved in it, to help bring balance to this whole process. And so, again, thank you so much for all the hard work, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman Felshaw, Councilman Alden, Samuel.
Thank you. I do believe that there is a higher power that's in control, and all things work together for good. I was very disturbed about the process. I appreciate you, Mr. Manager. From what I saw, you attempted to make the process very transparent, clear, and precise. But like you say, sometimes it's ugly making sausage. It was very clear to me you didn't have to do that. You didn't have to get a nationwide search. And this is not a decision for city council to make. This is not a decision for the citizens of Beaumont to choose who they want. The charter is very clear. It says we are not to interfere with the duties of the city manager. This is not my first time going through this process. Fortunately, from this, we have a great candidate. I believe that the true measure of a man is not where they stand in time of comfort and convenience, but where they stand amidst of conflict and controversy. I've watched Tim in emergency management. When most were gone from the city, we were here. He was in the north end. He was in the south end. He was all over the city. He was in the command center. I watched him perform under that pressure. So I feel good about it. I appreciate you. He's a man of integrity. I've never seen him shy away from making a decision, and the decisions that I've seen you make have been good decisions. I do have a problem with the process. Because of that, I'm going to ask that there be an Attorney General's opinion as to whether this council violated the charter. Because we did. We interfered with the decision of the city manager. .001 of the Texas Municipal Code says the purpose of this chapter is to secure efficient fire and police departments composed of competent personnel who are free from political influence. The charter says it's the powers of the city attorney. He shall have the implied powers to carry out the functions of the chief administrative officer of the city. And in addition to that, he shall appoint and remove all heads of departments and all subordinates. This decision of the city manager shall be final. There shall be no appeal to any other office, body, or court whatsoever. Section 4 says neither council nor any of its committees or members shall dictate the appointment of any person to or removal from office of employment. That was not our job. Confirmation is to allow for a resolution stating they found no disabilities about the person that's been charged, that's been appointed. We did that. We interfered. But God. Yes, I am.
Councilman Turner?
I have no problem just making sure we're transparent, so either side arguing, we can get the facts and know that we're doing things the proper way. So I have no problem with that. But me personally, I thank you for the process. I remember when you explained everything at the beginning. I remember the dialogue and the conversation we had. And one thing as a councilman, since I've been elected, if I don't agree with something, you know, I will tell you I do not agree with it. I'm real in tune with my community, and I had constituents in support of within, but I had a larger constituency in support of trying something new and doing something different. But one thing I can do is speak to my constituents and my community who supports me and trusts me. Captain Tim, or shall I say Chief Tim, I'm speaking into existence. I have conversations with the officers all the time about the percentage of officers who work within the city of Beaumont and don't live in the city of Beaumont. 64% to be exact. And the budget is 28.9% of that is the expenditures when it comes to law enforcement, which is the biggest expenditure of our budget. So the return on investment, I look at all of that because we all talk about being fiscally conservative. You told me as captain, you thought it was extremely important to live within the city that you represented and that you were over. That spoke volume to me. You said you want your kids to go to school with everybody else's kids. That spoke volume to me. I go to all the neighborhood associations. I'm up in there with Mike sometimes, Chris sometimes, North End with Alderman sometimes. You've been in all of them. Charlton Pilot, all of them. Juneteenth, I laugh because you were out there in a full uniform, long sleeves, and it was very hot. And you were communicating with the citizens, communicating with the kids, as well as 4th of July. Tim, I appreciate that. We did a community cleanup at Sprott Park with BISD. Me and Councilman Dury were out there. And you were in the ditches picking up trash with us. Your actions, man. And that's what we've been asking for this whole time. I can care less anymore about words. Your actions have spoken. Your ability to restrain real-time crime center, emergency management, your actions have spoken. Mr. Manager, I supported your process the first time, and I have no problem supporting it the second time. So for all the confusion out there, I supported the process the first time. You were very clear. And I do support it the second time. I can care less if the candidate is black or white. I want the best fit for the city of Beaumont. And that's why I'm supporting you, Tim. Much respect. Again, I apologize, Chief Tim.
Councilman Durio?
Yep. Much like Councilman Turner, which we agree on a lot of stuff, but I want all my constituents also to know about soon-to-be Chief Osnaschek. I worked with him many years. I don't know how many years. I was a fireman for 31 years, and we rolled through every hurricane since 1986, wading through the waters in Beaumont. While everybody else had, my family was evacuating, we were here, and he done an outstanding job. He also likes to go around and tell people, I don't know why they can't pronounce a good Cajun name like Osnaschek. But also, neighborhood cleanup, I told AJ that, yeah, he was walking right in the ditches picking up. But to piggyback on what Councilman Samuel said about people standing there when times are rough, all that was said tonight, he was standing right there. Never moved. He stood right there and listened to everything that everybody has to say. And I'm pretty sure that he's going to take action on some of those, whatever he has control over. And also, Manager, thank you. I don't think anybody else could have led us through this process. I really don't. It was very transparent. You led us through this process. Had a lot of folks disagreeing on stuff. I had a lot of things that were said today, but I think ultimately, unless somebody really surprises me, we're gonna finish this process tonight. And that's all I got, Mayor.
Councilman Neal.
Thank you, Mayor. You know, one of the things that I've always taken very serious is the charter, and equally important is state law. And I would just like for our Madam Attorney to speak to whether or not this council is violating the charter or state law.
Okay, so let me just start by saying, like, this is not a legal process. This is really an HR process that is governed by Local Government Code 143, and there's some implications with our charter. So first and foremost, council has the ability to accept, reject, or ask for an additional consideration as it relates to the city manager's proposal or an appointment. We had that conversation several times, and I've had that conversation both individually and collectively with you guys in executive session. So the rejecting of the city manager's choice is not a violation of the charter. It is within the council's authority of Local Government Code 143. And just for clarification for our citizens and for individuals who just aren't really familiar with hierarchies, state law trumps the charter. So even though the charter gives the city manager the full hiring authority and dismissal of and discipline of department heads, Local Government Code 143 is above that, and it says that the council gets to affirm that appointment. As it relates to interference, I am not aware, and I've not been made aware by our city manager, that any one council person or individual of council has imparted on him a requirement of him to hire a particular candidate. That, in my opinion, would have been in violation of the charter. The mayor and I had a conversation specifically about the confirmation process, and he presented ideas, and I shared with him that some of those ideas may have been or could be perceived as an interference, which he accepted. So we have been very cautious to make sure that the charter was adhered to, but also that council had a fair appointment and confirmation process. I respect Councilman Samuels tremendously. He was one of the first lawyers I ever met when I was a little girl, but I disagree that there has been a violation of the charter. Unless I'm told differently by our city manager that there has been some member of council that has directed him to make a different decision. With the facts that I have tonight, there has been no violation. There has been a request that I make an attorney general's opinion. However, that requires any action from my office requires 4 votes of council. So next week, if that is at least a second from another council member to do so, then I will put that on for council consideration.
Councilman Getz, did you have something?
Yeah, I just want to point out, we spent a lot of time tonight talking about the city charter. There's also a provision in the city charter which sometimes gets overlooked. It says that except as herein otherwise provided, qualifications being equal, citizens of Beaumont shall be given preference in employment by the city. I made it very clear, and I appreciate Mr. Robichaud for saying so, from the very beginning, that I wanted a local candidate, somebody that knows our police department and knows our community. And I think, Mr. Williams, you have done an outstanding job in bringing us a candidate that meets that criteria. Thank you.
Any other discussion?
So are we basically, we're only looking at the AG per the request of Councilman Samuel and Councilman Neal seconded, just for confirmation?
So what I will do is I will put that on an item for the August 6th meeting for council to vote as a collective to determine whether or not I do that.
Okay.
I'd like to clarify my point on seconding that, Councilman Turner. I don't think that we did anything wrong. But when Councilman Samuel brought that up, I feel like let's put the issue to rest and get the Attorney General to review it. We have nothing to hide if we didn't do anything wrong.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think that's fair, but people have been saying all kinds of crazy stuff tonight. So that's what I'm saying. When we say have we did anything wrong? We need to make sure we ain't did anything wrong. We isn't all of us.
So just for clarity, I don't want to get too far into it because it's not a posted item, but on August 6th, we'll discuss what that looks like and if an AG opinion is even a viable option. Because AGs do not give advisory opinions. So on August 6th, we'll discuss that and further. This isn't a posted item, so I don't want to get too far into that.
Any other discussion? All right, all those in favor of approving item number 2, making Tim Osnaschek Police Chief of the City of Beaumont, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion is carried.
I am very appreciative, and I figured I would have trouble coming up with some comments, so I made a couple of notes. So I'd prefer to just speak them. I know we've been here a while, and I appreciate y'all. Mayor and council, I want to thank the manager and the council for their trust and faith individually and with a unanimous vote. I think that speaks well to us, to me, to the department, to the community. Appreciate that. I really want to express my profound gratitude to the community, to the coworkers, to the family and friends who have shown such overwhelming support. I pledge my dedication to making this community a safer place. As you know, we've had the grand opening of the new real-time crime center, and this department has spent years developing and training people, procuring equipment, technology, expanding facilities to accommodate what is a cutting-edge ability to fight crime in this city. Fighting crime and public safety are community problems. We can take the lead, as mentioned earlier, but it's a community, a team approach. Under Chief Singletary's leadership, this department has made great strides in improving relationships between the department and the community, and I will continue to expand on that. The implementation of Crime Center, the integration of existing public-facing cameras by those who are willing to allow it are critical to making this project work. We've already had phenomenal successes using technology to stretch our manpower and to prove the speed of investigations. I want to expand our participation in community events and organizations to improve our interactions in transparency. I challenge you, the council, and the community members to help us recruit and retain qualified officers and civilians with a service mentality. This is a great time to be a police officer, and I look forward to continuing to serve this community. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Osnaschek. All right, may we have the reading of item number 1?
Conduct an election for Mayor Pro Tem Tempore, which recommendation is to conduct an election of council to select a Mayor Pro Tem.
Councilman Getz?
There's only one of us up here who has not served as Mayor Pro Tem so far, And with that, I make a motion that Taylor Neal, Councilmember Neal, be elected Mayor Pro Tem.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded for Councilman Taylor Neal to be named Mayor Pro Tem for item number 1. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of approving item number 1, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is carried. Mr. City Manager, may we have the reading of item number 3, please?
Council consider a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute change order number 2, accept maintenance and authorize final payment to Tanks Co., Inc. of Fort Worth, Texas for the prison ground storage tank rehabilitation project. And it comes with the recommendation of approval of the resolution.
Is there a motion for item number 3?
Move to approve.
Councilman Neal made the motion. Councilman Durio made the second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of approving item number 3, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is carried. Mr. City Manager, may we have the reading of item number 4, please?
Council consider a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute change order number 2, accept maintenance, and authorize final payment to Gulf Coast, a CRH company, for the street rehabilitation citywide Phase 4 project. And it comes with the recommendation of approval of the resolution.
Is there a motion for item number 4?
Move to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve item number 4. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of approving item number 4, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? The motion is carried. Mr. City Manager, may we have the reading of item number 5?
Council consider proposed amendments to Chapter 28, Section 28.04.008B19D of the Code of Ordinances, and it comes with the recommendation of approval of the ordinance.
Is there a motion for item number 5?
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded for approval for item number 5. Is there any discussion? Councilman Turner?
Can someone just explain the importance of the change in language?
Yes, sir. So right now, the requirement is that we have to have on-site supervision 24 hours for residential care uses. I would like to amend that to where it's on a case-by-case basis based on necessity and criminal activity associated with that property. So that's what I'm presenting at this time. The intent is basically a lot of these residential care uses are community services and their needs in our community, and they're ran by 501c3s, where having 24-hour on-site supervision would require personnel. That's a recurring cost. The hope is that for residential care uses that are more residential in nature versus other ones, such as other ones that could require those 24-hour on-site supervision would be your halfway homes, your foster care, obviously supervision of children. There's some where it's more residential in nature, that it's not violent individuals that are being cared for, and that's where I would like to look at it more of a case-by-case basis.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? All right, all those in favor of approving item number 5, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is carried. So as on here, all right, there is no public hearing. So at this point, it's time for council member comments. Councilman Durio.
Yes, Mayor, I just want to once again congratulate Raymond Ford and the 409 swim team. I think that's amazing. That's an amazing example of what we can do when we work together. Mr. Ford came to us spoke, said they needed a place to practice. Now we have our own swim team, and congratulations. That's how the process works. Also, I want to thank the community for coming out tonight and for all your words and everything that was said. Believe me, I can tell you, well, I'm going to speak for everybody up here, it was taken seriously. It really was. And I think, once again, congratulations, Chief Osnaschek. I'm pretty sure you're going to do. Huh? I got it right, of course. I've been saying it for 30 years. I know how to say it. But he's going to do a great job. Mr. Williams, that was a great choice. And it's time for us now to move on to the next dilemma, whatever that may be.
Thank you, Councilman Durio. Councilman Getz.
I simply want to congratulate Chief Osnaschek on being the next chief of police for the city.
Thank you, Councilman Getz. Councilman Turner.
To my daughter that's watching, today is her birthday. She turned 6 years old today. So I want to say happy birthday to Ainsley Ray Turner. I know you watching me, so I wanted to make sure I told you as I promised. So I'm not going to say much because I'm ready to get out of here and get to my daughter.
Thank you, Councilman Turner. Councilman Felshaw.
Thank you, Mayor. Chief Tim's wife and daughters in the back, please know that we appreciate you standing with him, and we understand the load and the burden of this city that he will carry will actually come home at times. So we know that this is a family affair, and it impacts you as it will impact him. So you're that unsung hero behind the police officers, the wives and the families that bear that burden every time they see their loved ones go out the door, not sure what the day will bring. So thank you. Thank you for your commitment to the city, and our prayers go with Chief Tim and also with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Felshaw. Councilman Samuel.
Yes, I'd just like to also congratulate Mr. Ford and the 409 swim team, and thank them. Thank Mr. Ford for the time that he spends with that organization, with that group, and taking them and helping them to grow. I'd also like to congratulate the Osnaschek family because it is a family affair, as well as all of those over at the Emergency Command Center. I know y'all are really proud, and I just say today is a good day for Beaumont.
Thank you, Councilman Samuel. Councilman Neild.
Thank you, Mayor. Also like to say congrats to Tim Osnaschek, well-deserved for this job. But at the same time, I want us all to remember that Chief Singletary still has 27 hours left as our police chief for the city of Beaumont. And, you know, this town owes that man a lot. The guy's given 54 plus years to this area. And say a prayer for him tonight because he's given a lot to this place. And he deserves everything that he's getting. So I hope he enjoys retirement, and he's gonna be missed around here. So, but congrats, Tim.
Madam City Attorney.
Before I get into the pleasantries and congratulations, there was some miscommunications during public comments. I want to clarify that. First, propositions and changes to the charter cannot be done unilaterally. They were placed on the ballot. We had a charter change committee. They were appointed by council. Those items went through a process, but ultimately council approved the items that were placed on the ballot, and then the voters actually approved the changes. So it was not a unilateral process. It was voted on by the voters, which is a part of the process. Secondly, railroad crossings are controlled by the railroads. We can request them, we can petition for them, we can cry and we can beg, but ultimately the decision to put in pedestrian crossings are at the discretion of the railroads because they own that property and that is their property. There is a lot of risk analysis associated with that for them to determine if a pedestrian crossing is safe. They also do an economic study to see if it's the cost-benefit analysis for them, but there's just not a unilateral decision by this council to overlook the requests and concerns for citizens as it relates to railroad crossings. And now that that's out of the way, I had to do a Cisco fade out of Chief Singletary's retirement. He'll know what that means. So I have not had an opportunity to tell him congratulations, but as Councilman Neal said, he has dedicated 54 years plus to law enforcement. He has been an excellent chief for me to work with and under, and I am sad to see him go, but excited for the new chapter for BPD with the appointment of Chief Osnaschek, also my neighbor. Shout out to Tim. He has been a part of my emergency exit plan for my family for as long as we have been in the neighborhood, and he is going to be an excellent addition, and I'm excited to work with him. I'm not looking forward to the long phone calls because Tim can keep you on the phone with the problem, but I am looking forward to working through some solutions, and I'm excited about the ideas that he has to improve our city. So,
Congratulations to Captain Osnaschek, and we'll pass along that along with the 4th Street project, we did work with the railroad, and they've placed the panels to continue the sidewalk on 4th Street over by where the old Best Year Center used to be by the park. And our contractor that's part of 4th, or a sub of the contractor, will finish the sidewalk work there, and we will have a rail crossing for bikes and pedestrians there, and we'll continue to look for opportunities to do so in the future.
First, I'd like to say condolences to Chief Shelton's family for the many, many years of dedication he's given to our community. I'd also like to congratulate Chief Singletary for the many, many years he's dedicated to our community. And then congratulations to Tim Osnaschek.
I want to echo all of that, and want to say to Captain, now Chief Osnaschek, congratulations for his new appointment.
Also, congratulations to both chiefs. We couldn't do better for the city of Beaumont.
Congratulations to Chief Osnaschek. I also want to announce that I'm pleased to announce that my code enforcement manager, Lynn Foote, was appointed to the executive board of Code Enforcement Association of Texas. Her hard work and dedication never goes unnoticed. So I just wanted to let everyone know about this. In the code enforcement world, this is a big feat.
Deal. And congratulations to Tim Osnaschek on his appointment, and condolences to Pete Shelton and his family.
I'd like to thank Tim's family and wife for sharing him with us. We know it's going to be a tremendous thing to do. So we thank you for doing it. I thank his wife's wave. Okay, he's back there. His daughter too. Okay, thank you for that, for sure. The 409 swim team partnership, I think that's a good example of what we can do as a city to work with the public and then to benefit our kids. It's awesome. Reminder of the council budget workshop tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. So that will come around pretty quickly. And but I just want this community to know, while council holds me accountable, they can feel assured that I'm going to hold Chief Osnaschek accountable. So we're all going to work together on this. It's more than just a chief doing it. We all have a role in this thing, and we're all going to play that role. So there will be accountability. But I want to share this, and be patient. I want to share this little reading here of this statement, and it's called "The Man in the Arena." And it said, "It's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or whether the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasm, the great devotions, who spends himself on a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly. So that is his place, shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat." And that was by Theodore Roosevelt. I would just also like to commend the other people who applied, the other candidates. It's not easy, including yourself in processes, and particularly in today's world, so sometimes lack of civility in public discourse. So I I commend Troy Price. I commend Jason Plunkett. I commend Kara Hope. I commend our other local candidates for putting their name in the arena. Me, as a city manager, don't go through that. It's not easy to open yourself up to such public scrutiny. So I thank them for participating in this process, and we look forward to going forward.
Yes, Councilman Turner.
Man, I would be remiss to not shout out my oldest sister who's in law enforcement. She's been in the crowd the whole time. Shalice Turner, can you wave your hand? My sister is a cop. Shout out to my nieces, Ari and Amelie.
She's a detective.
Yeah, step it up, detective. Yeah, shout out to my nieces, Ari and Amelie. Thank y'all for coming. I really appreciate y'all staying the whole time. And I hope y'all learned something today, okay? Thank y'all.
Happy birthday to Councilman Turner's daughter, and I want to congratulate Chief Singletary on 54 years of service, and thank him for that service, and congratulate Chief Tim Osnaschek and his family on the new appointment. And with that, the meeting is adjourned.